Welcome into the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Got a really good show today, folks. In fact, we're going to take a little bit of a detour from the norm. We're going to do a show today that deals a little bit with redemption. We're going to talk today about a topic that's close to my heart. My stepdad. I want to tell you a little bit about my stepdad for a quick second, and then I want to get into today's topic. My stepdad had worked. I know I've told you before, I had worked for Frank Lucas. If you've ever seen the movie American Gangster, one of the bigger heroin dealers in New York City. And that wasn't the end of his story. That wasn't what he was known for. What he was known for was being a pillar in his community. He was known for bringing guys up who were deep in addiction. He was known for being a mentor for a lot of young men who were having and struggling with addiction. He himself had gone through addiction. He himself had been on that side of it. He understood what it was to have gone through it, to have lost family members, to have lost everything, to have hit rock bottom. And then to have gone through all that and then found a new family and move forward with his life and to restart his life. It was important to him. Unfortunately, he's passed away. But in that, he knows what it's like to restart his life. My guest today is a man who had it all. He had the world in the palm of his hand. But unfortunately, he had a disease, or has a disease, I should say. But the disease does not define him, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're going to talk about a story called Out of Bounds. My guest is Chris Washburn, very familiar name. You may know him from NC State. You may know him from the NBA. But he also has a disease. He's got the disease of addiction, a disease that is a lifelong disease. That disease does not define him. That career that he had before does not define him. What defines him is his character. We're going to talk about that today. And that's an excellent character. So we're going to talk about the story Out of Bounds. My other guest today is Ronchepesiuk, a good friend of the show. Ron's an author, screenwriter, has published 46 books and more than 4,000 articles. He's a frequent commentator in several outlets, including Discovery, National Geographic, Stars, and Reels. His book, Crazy Charlie, was optioned for the television series Perizo Blanco, currently airing on the VIX streaming series. He's the author of two other Wild Blue Press books, The Real Mr. Big and Bad Henry. And of course, Chris Washburn, native of Hickory, North Carolina. Chris was drafted as a 20-year-old number 3 in the first round to the Golden State Warriors in 1986. He was traded to the Atlantahawks after 2 seasons, played 2 seasons before being banned for life because of drug use. After a long period of crack addiction, he recovered in 2012 and has since served as a speaker, mentor, and life coach. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the program Ronchepesiuk and Chris Washburn. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on True Crime Tuesday.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thanks for having me.
Chris, I want to start with you. And first of all, before we get into the sordid past, I want to say congratulations. Just congratulations. I want to skip to the end first before we get to the beginning. And I want to say congratulations, my friend, for making it through the storm.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. I need to correct you on one thing. My start wasn't 2012. I've been clean since 2001.
Okay.
I'm 24 years clean from cocaine and crack. So, and again, I'm glad that you also said it's an addiction. I mean, a disease, because a lot of folks just think of the addiction and a person just going out willfully, just getting high or even drinking alcohol. But when you see it as a disease, you think of something different. You know what I'm saying? This is something that they actually can't control or help themselves without having some help. Yeah. And so again, I do appreciate the exact reason why a lot of folks are out there in the streets now, is because this is a disease, not an addiction.
Well, I think you point out something very important in the book, and I really do think it's something that we should maybe open up the dialogue with first, and that is that you found out through the system, through genealogy, through other things that you were adopted. You reveal that in the book, that your biological means, that it may be handed down through genealogy. And I really do believe that as well. I believe, much like I'm a diabetic, it was handed down through genealogy. My parents were told before I was even born there was going to be a 70% chance their firstborn was going to be diabetic. And I believe, much like diabetes, much like other diseases, alcoholism, uh, drug abuse, drug addiction, I shouldn't say abuse, drug addiction is handed down through the genes. I truly do believe it.
Right. You know what? It's funny because even my adopted family that I was raised with, my mother never did any kind of drugs, never drank any kind of alcohol. But my father was a heavy drinker, and I saw that. So that kind of broke me from being an alcoholic because I saw the end results of that. But what it does with a person with an addiction gene inside them, it doesn't stop the curiosity of maybe something else. You know, so I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to try this and see how this is. But you still have the gene of addiction. You know what I'm saying? And so whatever we try or whatever I try and I like, for some reason, I go right back to it. Like I said, it could be as good having a good apple one day, and I need another one of those. And next thing you know, I've eaten 5 or 6 apples. Now I'm at the doctor's office because I have gout in my hand because I have too much acid in my body. You know what I'm saying? Or I see some shoes that I like, and again, my addictions have changed. Now it's not the drug part, but if I see some shoes and I can get them in my size because I wear an 18, and there's multiple colors. I don't stop until I get all the colors. Mm-hmm. You know, I still have the gene of addiction. Now, when I did find my biological mother and father, although they wasn't together, my mother was just like the family I was raised in. She never drank. My father was just like the father I was raised with. He drank because that was big back then, but he tried no other drugs. So, but now my mother had a son by a different man. My father had a daughter by a different woman. But all the siblings, we all had the gene of addiction. We all went on crack. Mm-hmm. None of us were alcoholics. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us had the same father that drank, but nobody was alcoholics. So the gene of addiction didn't follow us down that road, but the gene of curiosity did. So, okay, I'm not going to do this. So again, now I was a big weed smoker before I tried crack. So again, now once I tried weed and saw how it made me in the early days, I would laugh and giggle and, everything was so fun and I would try to hide and I couldn't because everything was just, peaches and cream, you know what I'm saying? So I smoked a lot of weed. So now when the crack is introduced and the crack takes a different kind of euphoria in the brain, the crack actually pushes the weed out. You know what I'm saying? So almost for 14 years, I didn't even smoke weed because every time I got money, it went towards the crack. So it went towards the addiction that satisfied me the most, and that was the crack. And like I said, the sister and the brother did the same thing. I was shot in the game before I left out. The brother was shot in the game before he left out as well. So, so again, the best thing I can see out of that picture, me and my brother wasn't in the same house because my mom would have had 2 sons that had been shot behind the crack.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Chris, you mentioned something and I want to tie this to the gene because it's so important. And that is, it was a specific drug that took you over the edge, and that was crack. And you described the feeling of crack as feeling like you were the king of the hill. What was the difference to you between weed and crack? What was that step up to you that grabbed you so hard and took hold of you?
Well, in actuality, the weed would have been better because it took longer to get to that high of laughing and having fun. But once you got there, it lasted longer. The crack took over because as soon as you took the hit and you blew your smoke out, you was at the laughing point and having fun right then. You know what I'm saying? But that high wore off a whole lot quicker than the weed. That high wore off within 5 to 10 minutes. And then you'd have to hit again to get back to that same laughing and feeling happy. Now you're chasing the happiness now. You know what I'm saying? See, what I was doing was, a lot of folks say when you take that first hit, you hit the bells and the whistles and all of that. And yeah, that happened for me as well. But I kept chasing the happiness. You know what I'm saying? And every time I hit it, I got happy. That's why I couldn't stop. because I wasn't chasing the bell whistles. I was just chasing, as soon as I blow this smoke out, my mind is gonna, go into places where, I'm sitting around with women and all that, and they doing what I want them to do because I got the money and the drugs. I'm sitting with panties on top of my head, and we talking and having fun and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not thinking about, one, I got a wife and kids at home. You know what I'm saying? I got all the money with me. And two is, if I lose my job, where's my income gonna come from? See, the crack took all those thoughts away from me. You know what I'm saying? It only just let me be happy. You know what I'm saying? And see, happiness got my butt put out the damn NBA. And also, put happiness got me on the street. You know what I'm saying? So again, you have to pick your happiness, as I tell people now. You have to pick your happiness. Do you want a falsified happiness that every time you hit something to get high, now you're happy? Or do you want a happiness that, some days you're not that happy. Some days are not smiling because you have a bill due, or somebody close to you may have been killed or something like that. You don't want to feel that. See, that was also one of the things. I didn't like to feel things, so the drugs made it where I didn't have to feel, because if somebody made me mad or I couldn't get something, I would go get high. If somebody gave me something, I'm saying, I was happy, I would go get high. So I would get high in any situation, but I was never feeling anything, so now I tell folks, the only thing different from doing the drugs in real life is that you feel things now when you're not high.
There's a lot in your life too that I mean, there's plenty of reasons for you to want to escape. Let's take it back to the beginning. There's a lot of talent in that body of yours, and a lot of promise in your future as you go from your beginnings to college. And I want to pick it up from the point where you enter into NC State, and you've got the great Jimvalvano as your coach. There's a period here in the early to mid 80s where let's just call it what it is. It's the Wild West of college, right? Where you've got, and you mentioned you've gone from smoking weed here, and really it's, I would say you're having fun. Life is good. You've got talent, you've got promise, and forgive the nomenclature here, but you're an absolute beast when it comes to playing basketball, right? You've got all the talent and promise in the world, but you get to college and you run across someone whose destiny is not very promising at all, and that's Len Bias. And Len Bias introduces you to that first hit. Can you tell us a little bit about that first meeting with Len Bias?
Well, Len, first of all, when I got to NC State, because of me not playing my freshman year due to the stereo incident, which is in the book, I only got to play 10 games. I had a chance to, because I'm not really one of those that's big to watch sports on TV. So I never really watched college basketball, although Len had already been in Maryland 2 years or 3 years prior to me getting to NC State. Never really watched college basketball, never really watched pro basketball. So when I got to state and I was suspended that freshman year, now I'm watching, the guys, because I'm also watching my team, especially when we're on the road and stuff. I couldn't travel. I'm out of state, being on probation. So, I got a chance to watch the teams now because, I know people on that. So, so I'm watching Len, and Len did. It wasn't even when Len was playing against us. It was when Len was playing against Carolina, and it was like a back-to-back play where he dunked the ball one way and then caught the ball and then dunked it backwards the next. And I was like, oh, this guy can play. And he was a junior then. So now my sophomore year, his senior year, I get a chance to play against him, but I never met him. I never really seen him. So when I get to Maryland, I get a chance to see him, see how he's built, see how he cut. We go up to Maryland and they beat us in Maryland. My thing is, if you beat me one time, they're not going to beat me twice. So most of the time I did split with schools. If they beat me once, we would get them at least at home or at their place. But Maryland wasn't one of those teams. We never beat Maryland. You know what I'm saying? So Maryland, so Len was in a different class. Like I said, I'm trying to get back in, get my name back right with the university, with the ACC and all of that. Len was a top in the ACC. Len was one of the faces of the ACC, and then also Len was Len was probably, projected to go high in the draft. Me, I wasn't thinking about the draft because I was just coming back my first year. But Len had something I didn't have. Len was an All-American. You know what I'm saying? Len had prestige. Folks knew him. And I wanted that, and I was drawn to that kind of attention because when I came to state, people knew me that I didn't know just because they was expecting me to come there, especially older class because of all the hype before I got there. So, you're already walking around like a little crown on your head, especially on your own campus. But when Len went places, it was like he was the LeBron James before that, or the the Michael Jordan after Jordan. When he went on campus, he had a big crowd around him. And I wanted that. So when Len, so fast forward, after Len and them came to NC State and beat us, I didn't expect to see Len anymore because, the draft was coming up. I wasn't going to a little game that they had in the city called bomb storming. I wasn't going to that because the players got paid. I don't want to be implicated in getting paid. But Len somehow made it to my room. And like with anybody, like I said, if you see somebody you kind of admire, want to, kind of look up to a little older than you, kind of look up to, but in the steps that you're wanting to be in, you kind of watch, you know what I'm saying? So when the opportunity came, like I said, when they came to the room and they were doing something that I didn't know what it was, when he asked me at first, I said no, you know what I'm saying? Second time I said no, but then, the third time, like I tell a lot of folks, if you go to the barber shop every day, eventually you'll get a haircut.
Oh, yes.
You get that. So if you keep asking person, eventually, especially when it's 2-on-1, because another person will go ahead, man, try, and then, he's asking me, go ahead, man, this thing is good. Even at 20 years old, it's still peer pressure. You know what I'm saying? So, so I'm thinking it's like marijuana. My first experience like marijuana when I tried it, was like, okay, I didn't really get high off the first hit. It gradually came on, and then once I got high, I was laughing and having fun. But I turned this down a few times, and then I said, okay, finally, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when I said yeah, and I took the hit, it was like immediately I liked it because as soon as I blew the smoke out, the little sweat was coming off my head, and I was immediately at that happy place. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, why did I take so long to try this? You know what I'm saying? But again, I tried it again. I only hit it maybe 2, maybe 3 times at the most. And then he had to go. Now I'm sitting in my room high because this is after the season. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for exams. So I'm sitting in my room high. So, but my main thing is where can I get some more? And then also, how can I do it without people knowing me? So I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it in North Carolina. So, and then also missing all my exams. So I ended up leaving NC State and declaring for the NBA. A lot of that stuff that I just skipped over is in the book. I don't want to give too much of the book stuff up. But I had declared for the NBA because I would have been ineligible that prior year. But what people don't understand is sometimes peer pressure for you, you know what I'm saying, maybe, something that is needed because it may stop you later on in life. It's about what I'm getting ready to say, from doing something that you'll regret. Now, I say that in because, see, when Len took the hit, as people now think that, when he hit and died, that was his first time. I knew that wasn't his first time because he had given it to me. You know what I'm saying? So now, so I'm watching, his, what's happening for him, but then also I'm not caring about what's happening to me. You know what I'm saying? Because they're praising Len on one hand, but on the other hand, I'm being penalized by my coach because I can't make it to practice on time. I can't do anything right because I'm doing the drug that this same person that y'all are praising gave to me. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm like calling the catch-22. Am I upset about Len dying? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a fellow athlete. Again, I didn't know, I won't wish death upon nobody. But then again, Len left me in a position where when he died, he didn't have to hear anything negative about his life. You know what I'm saying? But now with me being alive and not being able to fulfill the NBA dream that everybody else wanted for me, I hear all the NBA busts and all that kind of stuff. So I've always asked myself, who got off easier? Did Len get off easier because he didn't have to deal with this? But now again, then also you think about this as well. Everybody compares Len to Jordan and all that because, because of what he could have been.
Yeah.
Say now we've reversed the roles. If Len would have lived and done all the stuff, it would have been me. Went through all the stuff, homelessness, banned from the NBA, and Chris Washburn would have died. Would he have been compared? Because everybody said, "Oh, you play like Shaq and all that." Oh, Chris Washburn would have been the next Shaq and all that kind. See, I have to always wonder who came out better on this situation. So again, hopefully I answered that question. But
you went, Chris. Forgive me for interrupting. You went to a place where I was just going to ask you about, and that is, when Len died, it shocked the nation. It really did. I was shocked, and I wasn't a huge. I mean, I was somewhat of a college basketball fan, and I kept, I dipped my toe in the water, and I kept my brain in it. But I think because of the way Len died, it stopped the world. It really did. It stopped the world. It was shocking. I mean,
right.
A young man who, he dropped dead. And at the time, crack wasn't a part of it. He had a heart attack. That's what we knew. He had a heart attack. It was only a few days later that the crack part of it came in. But even so, it was tragic. And like you said, it was the potential. It was the promise that Len had that we all went, oh my God. I mean, the potential, right? And like you eloquently put, it was the promise of what Len could have been and you just flipped it. And what, if it would have been you.
Because again, if you think about it, I had promised too.
Yes. And if you would have been
my promise, I didn't get the same kind of praise as Len got. I got it where, he's a bust. He was never that good anyway. But now, if I would have done all the stuff I was supposed to do, he would have been, he's the greatest thing ever, such and such. But it's always funny because the person that can't answer for themselves gets the more praise. When you come to me and say, well, you were a bust, but you never asked me why I was a bust. You never asked why a 20-year-old kid was depressed, why a 20-year-old kid, him and his coach couldn't get along. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so again, but all you worried about is why he couldn't play basketball. But you don't now see that. I was a bust in basketball, but now I'm a champion in life because some of the stuff I got through, a lot of my friends didn't get through it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm more proud now of maybe the basketball being secondary because life is still important to me now.
Yeah.
So I still try to figure out, and I battle myself still to this day. Who came out better, Len or myself?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to go through none of this bad stuff. But I did, but I was built for it, I guess. So, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. But what I was going to finish saying is it takes strength to go through what you've gone through. It takes real inner strength to go through what you've gone through and get to the other side.
Right. And as an athlete, when you go into an arena, a lot of times, especially if you're on the visiting team, half the arena is against you, the other half is for you. Mm-hmm. And you understand that. But now once you get on drugs, it seems like everybody's against you. Yeah. And so now it's like, well, what do? I have nobody because now family's not going to give me money because they know what I'm going to do with it. Don't really have friends because they know what I'm doing now. And they don't want to be associated with, especially for a person like myself. You know what I'm saying? That was an athlete. So everybody I know, were kind of, important people had a little money, especially in the NBA. All my friends were millionaires. Mm-hmm. Now, once they took my check from me, I wasn't a millionaire no more. But my friends were, so they slowly started cutting me off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now, where does a kid, 20-year-old, a 20-year-old kid go? Because as I said, being depressed, I don't have friends I can go to because my teammates don't want me around. I'm off the team now. Mm-hmm. The other folks that I kind of, got away from when I was younger because I was playing sports and they wasn't. I can't go back to them now because, I'm not in that circle. Drug dealers only want me around because I'm spending money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The other folks only want me around because I'm getting high with them. So once all that was gone, I was a lot of times by myself at the end. But like you said, again, you have to be built for that kind of stuff.
That's right. We're going to take our break here. When we come back, I didn't forget that Ron's here. I want to talk to Ron for just a quick moment about how Ron met up with Chris and how they brought this book together. I also want to talk
I should add my own feeling about Chris and how he survived it. He had a lot of luck. I mean, the good old Lord was taking care of Chris, because if you look at his life like I did, and you look at all the opportunities that were for him to end his life to end, he didn't have to end it like Len, with an overdose. I mean, he faced situations that were just incredible, and somehow he managed to survive. And even prison, he spent prison. He got shot. He was on the streets. He was hanging in some of the toughest areas of some cities like Atlanta, and through it all, he made it. So I think he's blessed, really.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know what, Ron, we'll talk about that when we come back, because I do want to get into some of the situations that Chris got into. And again, it is True Crime Tuesday. So I do want to cover a couple of some of the stickier spots that Chris got into. I want to talk to Ron a little bit when we come back about how he and Chris hooked up and created Out of Bounds. And when we come back, I also want to talk about redemption, right? Because that's part of the theme that I want to talk about today, and getting through the disease of addiction. And so we'll talk about that when we come back as well. My guests are Ronchepesiuk and Chris Washburn. The book is Out of Bounds. It's available right now. Out of Bounds, From Broken NBA Dreams to Redemption. It's a good one, folks. We got a link in the description of this program. I want you to go get it while we're in break. When we come back, more with Ronchepesiuk and Chris Washburn right here on the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. My guests are Chris Washburn and Ronchepesiuk. The name of the book, Out of Bounds, From Broken NBA Dreams to Redemption. It's a good one, folks. We have a link in the description of this program. So, Ron, I'm going to come to you first, being I've ignored you for the first part of the program. I didn't mean to. I want to ask you first, how is it that you come across Chris and you create this book?
Right. Well, I had no really intention of working with Chris. I didn't know that he was still alive. I live in ACC country, and so I'm a big basketball fan. And I remember Chris. I remember NCC State. I remember Valvano and winning the national championship and all that. And I remember Chris. And we both have a mutual friend named GL Henderson. And one day GL called me up, and we were talking. And he mentioned that Chris was who Chris was, and I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "How's he doing?" And he explained his situation. I said, "You really?" and all that. And he said that he was thinking about doing a book. And I said, "Oh really?" And I said, I'm between books now, and I'd be interested in talking to him about doing the book." And he says, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." And so anyway, he set up a meeting in Charlotte, which is sort of equidistance from Chris's hometown of Hickory, where he lives, and my hometown of Rock Hill, which is right outside of Charlotte. And so we talked, and I told him what I could do, and what I can't do as a writer for the book. And he thought about it, and then we decided to write the book. And it was really quick, overnight. I had a book contract, and I approached Wild Blue Press, and they were excited, and we signed a contract, and we worked. And I had this impression of Chris because I did my background research, and frankly, he was really derelict, irresponsible when he was under crack. He did all kinds of weird things. Disappointed people, didn't show up for meetings, and was overweight and all that sort of stuff. But he was, and I've done, like you said, 46 books, and I've done more than 17,000 interviews. And he's one of the best interviews I've ever had. He was totally reliable.
Yeah.
We did a lot of stuff over Zoom to save time, and he never missed a meeting. In fact, he was early a lot of times on that. And as you can see, he's articulate.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun interviewing him, and the book, almost wrote itself. And we did the book in like 8 months, which was pretty amazing, and got it out. And so that's where we are now. We're promoting the book.
Well, I got to ask you this, Ron, because you've been involved in multimedia. I mean, you've had things made into movies and TV shows, and as I read this, it makes for a perfect either movie, miniseries, whatever you want to make this into. So I got to ask you, is there a natural step here to make this into a multimedia project?
Right. In fact, that's what we're looking for now. We're going to be approaching some companies, and I've got some leads, and we're going to see. But you're right; it's a natural story, from promise to broken promise to redemption. Mm-hmm. It's just it has a natural arc for a great movie and even a documentary. I mean, you get all of his former teammates at NC State, people that know him, like Johnlucas. Chris was in Johnlucas rehab center. John had the same problem Chris did, just as bad, in fact. And he redeemed his life and started this center, which has really helped a lot of people and all that. So it's quite an amazing story, and we're going to try to get people interested. I think once they read the book, they can see the plot, for the story, and hopefully somebody will jump on it.
Now, Chris, there's been what's a good way of putting this? You've had quite a few run-ins yourself. I mean, there were things you had to do in order to feed the addiction, to feed the disease. Little things like I think you mentioned even in this interview, there was the stereo incident. But you had to do some shady stuff in order to feed the addiction. Is there things you're willing to talk about here today? One or two examples in order to feed the addiction?
I have a couple that's in the book, but this first book, as I call Volume 1, was really just to make sure we got the stats out, maybe corrected some of the stories people have already heard over the years. And I put a couple new stories in, but you remember I did cocaine for 14 years. Mm-hmm. Also the penitentiary as well. So this next one, as I call Volume 2, it will be more stories in there in regards to Chris Washburn struggles in life, journeys and things I went through. But there's a lot of things I had to learn because, like I said, stealing to me back then was, and my mom always told me stealing was taking something from somewhere without permission, or taking something from somebody and you didn't ask them. So when I was on crack, I would go to the grocery stores and I wouldn't have any money. So I would get I would open up a loaf of bread and take me a few slices out. Then I would go over to the meat section, open up a pack of ham and cheese. And I'm being bougie. I still wanted mayonnaise. So I would open up some squeezed mayonnaise and put on the sandwich. And I would walk around the store eating sandwiches. I didn't think I was stealing because I wasn't taking anything out. I was eating all the food inside the place. So, until I got caught into there's a grocery store in Texas called Fiesta. And the man kindly explained to me, this is a form of stealing. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't do anything with this once you open it up and all that. So I learned, those kind of stories. And also that little pocket in your jeans that you have up there, that little thing, that's not good to hide crack in because police always check that pocket. Oh, what I'm saying? I've hidden, I try to hide my crack in there, and I got caught a couple of times doing that. You know what I'm saying? And these kind of things are in the story. Plus, locking myself in hotels and things like that, barricade myself, and let me say that, and not letting the people in to get to the rooms. I have a bunch of stories. So, you just have to wait for some of the main stuff, and then also one thing I can tell you, I used to get high in front of the mirror, and once I got high in front of the mirror, once I would get to a certain point, I would get up and start walking past the mirror, and I would try to walk past, and I had a big hallway in my house. This is when I had money. And so I would start running past the mirror, trying not to see myself. You know what I'm saying? So for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, I'm running past the mirror, turning my head, looking in the mirror to see if I don't see myself. Because I'm just...
Oh my gosh.
That's just how high I was, So I have a bunch of stuff.
Wow. How bad did Chris's addiction become? His mother had to hide her purse in the church because she was worried. Yeah, it's in the book on that. And she told him to leave a note on his body that when they found it, they would know who he was.
Oh my God.
That's how bad it was. That's his mother,
So as you see, what you see right now is more of a finished product. Mm-hmm. This not the product that was like I said, I'm 24 years clean. 25 years ago, it's not the same product.
Right.
Like I said, and I tell folks, I feel good even today that people still like for me to be around, or friends, as I call them now, call me, invite me over for barbecues and things like that. Because before, like I say, they didn't want me around. And if I would catch wind they was having something, I would just pop up. And a lot of times before I got inside, if they saw me, they might bring me a plate and give me a couple dollars and tell me to go ahead and go. All I wanted was the money. You know what I'm saying? That's what they knew, but they don't want folks to know that, I was associated with them. And I didn't figure that out until years later, and then I started using it for my advantage because I would pop up knowing they would give me money, you know what I'm saying? And I catch them in situations where they didn't want me to be around, they would give me money to leave. So, so these are things I learned, over the years, but like I say now, as I tell a lot of folks that are still actively using, that this side is a whole lot better than that side. My worst side, my worst day, even being sober, my worst day still beats my best day, even in the NBA of getting high. You know what I'm saying? When I'm spending 2,500, 3,000 a day, my worst day, just being able to wake up in the morning and not have to worry about that day beats that by far. So, so there's still some pluses on this sober side. I want folks to understand, but the main thing is you have to raise your own hand. And as in the book, you'll see, I went to rehab 14 times. And I never raised my hand to go in. Like I said, somebody else always raised my hand first. It was either to stop me from being banned from the NBA or a reason for me not to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Where a lawyer would say, well, he'll go to rehab or he'll go to treatment. So somebody raised my hand, you know what I'm saying? But this last time I raised my own hand because I didn't even go to treatment. You know what I'm saying? When I finally got clean, didn't know rehab, you know what I'm saying? Didn't know meetings or anything like that. I just stopped getting high. You know what I'm saying? The part of it was I just stopped.
Well, there has to be a rock bottom moment, right? They always say there has to be a rock bottom moment when you decide I've had enough. You tap out. And again, people will find that out when they read the book.
Right.
But there has to be that rock bottom moment where you just decide I can't anymore, where you have to give up. That love for the drug has to leave you and the love of something else has to take over.
Well, correct. Like for one, I used to be a nice dresser, and when I got on drugs, I would come home sometimes. I had a place and change clothes, then go back out there to look good for the streets. It even got bad. It got bad at one point where when I was living in Houston, I was on the streets. My drug dealers would go buy clothes for me. And then, give me clothes and let me go to somebody, another person, another crack house that man had the water, running water in it and pay me to take a bath.
Oh my God.
And then the funny thing was I wouldn't take a bath unless they gave me cocaine first.
Oh my God.
I got the clothes and the shoes in my hand. I am not getting in this water unless y'all give me some cocaine first. And then once I get in the water and get out, the nice, clean, clear water, it was almost muddy, dark, when I would get out of the water. This is how dirty I was. And, and luckily I ran across those kind of people because I could have easily ran across those guys that $5 they would take your life for. You know what I'm saying? They only saw you as a piece of money. I didn't run across them for some reason. And again, the man upstairs always looks out for babies and fools, and sometimes baby fools. And I called myself. But he always put good dealers, a person that had a family was doing this on the side that didn't want to leave their family. Although I couldn't pay them, they weren't going to kill me because they didn't want to go to jail behind and leave their family. He always put me in good position with, people like that. But, yeah, like I said, the book has a whole lot of stories about cars I borrowed, I end up pawning that wasn't mine. You know what I'm saying? And people had to go back and get them. And again, and all the chances I had. A lot of people think that, I had my chances over. No, sometimes you get 3, 4, 5, and then in my book, you say I had numerous chances, to get it right. And people still stayed around me until I got it right. You know what I'm saying? And that's all a person of addiction needs to know, that somebody's still there if they can get this thing right. Not to push them and do it for them, but if they get it right, they still have somebody that's still behind them.
Is there anything, Chris, that you lost through this disease that you regret the most?
Yeah. Oh, a lot of time.
Yeah.
Time, because that's one thing I can't get back. You know what I'm saying? 14 years plus all the hours plus all the minutes. I can't get none of that back, because if I replace that with anything other than the drugs I was doing, then my life would probably be totally different. You know what I'm saying? As I said before, I might not have the kids I have. I might not have, the wife I have now. If I went out the door and went left instead of right that day. You know what I'm saying? As I tell people, once you go out your house and go left or right, there are different things going down that street that you don't know about. You know what I'm saying? So no, I wouldn't really change anything. I just hated that it took me 14 years to understand that I've always had the power to stop. All I had to do was just put it down, and because the only way you can get high is to put it inside your body. And for some reason, and it was funny because when I finally decided that I don't want to get high no more, I was 36 years old, too old to play basketball for my position. But now I'm at the point where, okay, why do I want to stop getting high now? I don't have to. I'm not trying to play basketball. I'm not reporting in to any camps and coaches. Nobody's looking for me now. You know what I'm saying? So I can go on and get as high as I want to. But now this is the time I want to stop. And like I said again, I mean, it's funny because even now I only played a little less than 3 years in the NBA, as they say. I still have friends now that played 10, 12 years in the league that call me to ask for money or for loans. It's like, you made 90 million. I made a little less than 3 million. You know what I'm saying? So again, but if I got it and I can do it, I still do it. It's funny, I still do it. But it lets me know that I'm still here for a reason. And it also lets me know that, although some of these guys had a longer career, probably even better known than me, that I can still help them. And it's just funny like that.
That's amazing to me, Chris. You know that? I mean, that speaks to your heart. That speaks to what a great soul you are. That someone who, let's face it, abused the privilege. That someone who abused that station comes to you and says, "Well, can you help me out?" And the fact that you don't give it a second thought.
No, because some folks don't want other people to know their secrets. But for some reason they don't have a problem in calling Chris and telling them. And it's funny because there's some guys, retired players now that still actively use. And sometimes I get a call 3, 4 in the morning, say, Chris, can you cash out me $20 right quick? You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm asleep. Why are you? You know what I'm saying? But it lets me know that the drug, that the devil is still out there working. You know what I'm saying? And that also lets me see that I'm in a whole lot of better. I'm in a better place now than even back then, because guys are still like I said, I don't leave my house after 9 o'clock, if possible. There's time me and my wife out eating. To see guys are still out 2, 3 in the morning, it's like, you're looking for one thing, you're looking for trouble. Two, you got to be still doing drugs. You got to be doing drugs. They call me with the big, with the big money scheme and ideas of how we can make some money together. But hey, send me $50 right quick, and we're talking in the morning. No, so again, all these things I hear and I've done, and I listen to them, what I'm saying? But it just shows the gratitude I have now for sobriety.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's talk redemption. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead.
If there was a rock bottom moment, I think was when his father died. Right, Chris?
Yeah.
That was really when he took responsibility for his mother. His mother was alone, and he just woke up. And what's really amazing about him, usually people go to rehab, they go counseling and all that. He just quit. And to me, that's the most shocking but inspiring thing at the same time. I mean, because no matter how low you are in life, you can always change it. And Chris is a good example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's talk redemption here, and let's talk about the Chris Washburn of now, because the Chris Washburn of now is obviously a responsible member of his community, is a man of well, let's face it, a man of his community, a man who is a man of family, a man who well, pardon the language, got his shit together. So tell me, what are the aspirations of Chris Washburn in 2025?
Well, the first thing is, like I said, like Ron said, I had to take some responsibility. Like I said, my dad passed. My mom had been the only woman that really stood by my side. I was talking about through the valley and through the hardest parts of my life. And I just felt as it was time for me to start getting my stuff together. So I started straightening up after my father passed. It took a little time still. It took about a year after he died for me to get it together. But once I did, my mom later on was diagnosed with dementia, Alzheimer's, which was funny because then I had to start taking care of her, and like I told you before, all responsibility was taken from me. Trust and all that. Like I said, my mom used to hide her purse and everything in the church, wouldn't even bring her purse home because she knew I would find it somewhere. So she would leave it in a big old church, and I've even broken into the church and robbed the church, But again, that's for another book. But I think the main thing was, I wanted to. I had kids, I had kids, and I wanted, and I didn't want my legacy or them to run up on me because they were little at that time. But eventually, they're gonna grow up, and I didn't want them to come up on me and see me out there doing drugs and getting high and stuff. And then also one time I was getting high. Well, several times I was getting high. I was getting high with families, like the mother, the daughter, or the son and the dad. It's like, I know what this is doing to me. So why would you introduce this to your child? So I started seeing, things that started making me want to get out of that lifestyle. So now again, those things that made me stop right there. No, it just, those were little seeds that started piling up. And, like I said, at the end, it was like, I'm just tired of this lifestyle. Again, I want better for myself. I'd had better for myself. Even some of those nights I was in those abandoned houses that broke in, I would wake up and I'm laying on the floor and I'm like, man, just 4 years ago, 5 years ago, you was in a mansion, that hot tub, Mercedes Benz, girls. Now you land on the floor and just push the rat away from you, and so again, so these are things I'm thinking about, what I'm saying, and as I tell folks when I'm out speaking, I'm surprised I didn't go crazy,
Yeah.
I was surprised because there was really a mental depression when you sit back and think about all the stuff you've lost, and you're only about 25 years old, 26 years old. Knowing you can go back and do it, but now people are scared to take chances on you. Um, but again, it never stopped the thoughts and the dreams that you have about having those things, But now, that there's no way to get that, and those same folks that you were getting those things with don't want you around. So like I said, so these are things that are in the book or will be in the second book as well. But like I said, the main thing is you have to be alive and be around to enjoy life. I know a whole lot of my friends that did it right. I'm talking about the health shakes, the ate right, ran and worked out, and I did today. And look at me, I sat around, smoked crack for years, smoked weed for 40 years, and and I'm still here to tell a story for some reason. So and I don't take that lightly. So again, like I said, what me and Ron, what we try to do now is we're trying to get the message out there. Like I heard you ask about the documentaries and things like that. Yeah, I would love to have that out there because again, there are a whole lot more stories that if people are like me, you can. I take in more things when I see them, when I see it than hearing it, or having to read it, you know what I'm saying? But if I'm seeing these actions, because again, I put myself in some dangerous situations, some bad neighborhoods, and was able to come out. But as you say, like I said, the main thing is, what I try to do now is I try to help, I try to give back because again, if I had the money had back then instead of spending it on crack, I would have been helping more people.
Absolutely.
To really understand Chris's addiction, he was spending at the height like probably $1,500 a day, and you're talking about crack. Crack's a cheap drug. Anybody could afford it. It's not like cocaine,
Right.
which is expensive. So you could imagine how deep the addiction was. When he'd go to the bank, drop 15,000, and by the end of the weekend, it would be gone. He'd have to go back again. You know what I mean? So that shows you the comeback he's made.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Chris, let me ask you this. And as we're getting ready to wrap up here, you yourself have children, as you've mentioned. I believe one of those sons played in the NBA. Did you sit down and, I'm sorry, what's that?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
One of those sons, I believe, played in the NBA, right? Or plays in the NBA. Did you sit down and have that addiction talk with them and say, "Hey, listen, kids, this runs in the family. Don't follow my lead. Don't hit those pitfalls." Have you had that talk with them?
You know what? It's funny you say that. Yes, I had that talk with my kids when they were like in high school and stuff. I told them, look, I have the gene of addiction. Watch what you try. Because again, just like with me, I went to a party one night. I stayed in for 14 years. Believe it or not, none of my sons are actively have no hard drugs to my knowledge. We should not. All the kids, yeah, they've smoked weed or tried weed, drank a little alcohol, but now my sons are in their 30s. Yeah, I have my one son, Chris Jr. He had a year with the Suns. Then he went overseas for like 13 years. The other son, Julian, that played at UTEP, came out. He played for San Antonio, Minnesota. And he had a year with Golden State as well. Now he's about 30. So he just retired last year. Then I have another son called Chris Leitner, who played for the Harlem Globetrotters for like 7 years. Now he's a general manager for a team called the Fast Breakers, which is a league up under the G League, which they still pay. This is a men's league that plays only in the summertime here in the States, just like over in Puerto Rico. They call a league called Superior League over there. But we have a league here in the United States where the guys, because everybody still wants to still chase that dream. Hope somebody still go out looking for them to come into the NBA. So these guys are still getting a check and stuff. But then also they carry a regular job too during the year, but they still have that hope. And so all my sons are doing what they were actually blessed to do. I'm the only one that fell off the track, but I'm more proud of my daughter because I didn't have any daughters. And my wife that I'm with now had a son and a daughter when I got with them. And me and the daughter at the young age, you can imagine 10, 11 years old, I'm coming in the house, we butting heads back and forth. But make a long story short, she changed her name a couple of years ago from her last name to my last name. She asked me to adopt her at 25 years old. And my thing was, I'd made a big enough impression on her that somebody wanted to actually take my name. They didn't have to have my name because I was the actual father. This is a person that wanted my name because I made enough positive influence in them. Now, they were honor roll student and all that kind of stuff during school, so they're very smart. So when the person asked you, will you be my dad? Will you adopt me? That was my most proud moment, what I'm saying, up until now, even with my own kids, because with my sons, as I say, we butted heads because of the drug, what I'm saying, because I didn't come to some games, what I'm saying, because I was still trying to get it right when they were coming up, but I didn't get it right until, they were in college, almost maybe pro, so now they're men, so I've kind of missed that younger age where they felt as though I needed to be around, so, I had to battle through that. As I say, when you're getting clean from drugs, that's not the only thing that you're battling through. So you're battling through all your bad mistakes, all your misparenting and all that, because, they came up with some harsh words over the years, what I'm saying, as boys. And I had to just take that because, I wasn't like, I wasn't the man I should have been at that point in time. So now with all of them having kids, because I have 9 grandkids now. So with all the grandkids, I showed them what I should have been doing with them. So now I'm back on the team now to say, what I'm saying, because as they said, and with them being older and understanding life a little more, they understand how you can fall off because they've had friends that had drug problems and stuff. So as you say, I'm back on the team now. Like I said, again, for me, life couldn't get any better. So now I have 2 businesses as well. So, like I said, all the stuff I went through, all the being banned, all being called the NBA bust, all the places not being able to go to, got me to this point. I wouldn't change anything.
See, you're winning at life right now, my friend. You're winning at life. And congratulations on the daughter and the grandchildren. And that's the sweet part of this whole thing is the redemption. It really is.
Redemption part. That's redemption.
That's right.
It's not basketball, it's life redemption.
That's right. It's life redemption. Absolutely. The book is Out of Bounds: From Broken NBA Dreams to Redemption. Chris Washburn and Ron Chepesiuk are your authors, and it's a wonderful book, folks. We have a link in the description of this program. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being on the program today. It's been my honor. It's been my honor to have you both on.
Great show, Tim. A good show. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Tim, before I go, could I say one more thing?
Yes, please.
The book is on your audience to get the book off of any platform, Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble. But if they want a signed copy from me, my website is CW Enterprises with an S, TAC.com.
Okay.
CW Enterprises with an S, TAC.com. And with that, you'll go onto my link and you put how many books you want, your name on your book, and where you want to send back. It'll also show you posting and handling and all that stuff as well on that. Now, that's my other company that called CW Enterprises. It also book me for speeches and things like that, appearances and stuff like that. So go to that website if you want to know more about Chris Washburn.
We'll link up to that as well, so that people can go to the description, link up to you as well, Chris, so that they can contact you and get an autographed book and contact you for other things.
Thank you very much, Dan.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Folks, we don't need to lighten things up anymore. A redemption story is as light as it can get and is as fulfilling as you can get. But let's go now to Dumb Crimes, Stupid Criminals and Jessicafreeburg.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time again, the time you all been looking forward to. It's time for Dumb Crimes, Stupid Criminals. And if I seem a little more excited than most on this special Tuesday, it's because the Vikings won by such a huge margin. You people said it couldn't be done with a washed-up quarterback and a Swiss cheese line, but it happened. It happened, thank God. Okay, we can get on with the program now. I just had to let that out. It was sweet relief for at least 1 week until we tank the rest of the season. Anyways, okay, so it's Dumb Crimes, Stupid Criminals. I just had to let that out. By the way, I am in a, you know, last year when Bruiser was on the program, we had the psychic pets pick, you know, and I was beating the doggies. By the way, I got to bring in my co-host first, and then we'll talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of destroying things, not by a score of 48-10, but destroying the Hindustan Times charts, literary charts, destroying them like the Vikings destroyed the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend, tearing it up, throwing it aside with her literary prowess, with not one, not two, not three. By the way, when her publisher came to her and said, Jess, can you create 3 literary tomes at the same time and release them? She said, 3? I'm not a 3 kind of gal. I'm a fantastic 4, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take on 4. I'll release 4 books at the same time and slaughter everything in my way. I am literally the Thanos of the literary world. Give me every infinity stone you've got. I'll put it on my gauntlet and destroy you all. Ladies and gentlemen, she's intelligent, she's witty, she's funny, and she's darn easy on the eyes. And she's got everyone at the Hindustan Times in fear of their very lives. Here she is, Jessicafreeburg. Jess, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I was going to say I'm like a literary nuclear bomb, but I like Thanos. That's great. I'll go with that.
Okay, yeah, I figured, you know.
It works.
I'll tie it into a Marvel movie. Or the Marvel universe this time, yeah. Yeah. I still haven't seen Fantastic Four. And I was a huge Fantastic Four fan as a kid. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the John Byrne run. But, you know, duty calls. So I wanted
Yeah.
I wanted to see it in 3D, but I never got to.
Oh, shoot. You missed your opportunity.
Well, you know what I'll do when it comes out on video? I'll just sit really close to the TV. That'll be enough of a thrill for me.
Maybe you can have intern Yoko act it out for you while it's going, and that'll be kind of like a 3D experience. You know, when someone gets punched, she can be like, ah,
Yeah, I'll just have her hit me in the mouth. It'll be like,
yeah,
yeah,
like you're living it.
yeah. It'll be like I'm right there in the movie.
Break a chair over your head,
Yeah,
throw you off the roof.
yeah, yeah. Then
I
when
volunteer to come help.
well, you can if you'd like. You can play Invisible Girl, sure, if you want. I mean,
Yeah.
I could have a suit made up for you. You know.
An invisible suit? What does that look like?
Well, that's my fantasy. Leave yourself out of this, sister. I mean, until it's time. Uh, and you know, you could hide behind the couch and go, "I'm over here." Stuff like that. Just leave it to my own fantasy.
You just hand me a hanger and there's nothing on it. You're like, no, seriously, go put it on. It's great.
Try it on. It's. Can't you see it? It's great. It's a great suit. I had it.
I'm like, I don't know about this, Tim.
Oh, really? It says 4 right in the middle. Can you see? I even have your name embroidered on it.
Oh,
Yeah. Boy, this is getting awkward. Oh, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Vikings had a huge win this weekend. I don't know.
I love him when we go off the rails in the first like 2 minutes of the show.
Yeah. Huge stories though today. Huge stories.
Yay.
Lots of contributions today.
I love that. Thank you guys. You always give us the good stories.
Yeah. Everybody from Tony to Bijou to boy, all the names. And I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to name everybody who sends. I'm telling you, we had like 6 or 7 people send us stories this week. It's
You should send me the list of names and I'll read them.
I should, yes.
And we'll just make a big deal out of it because it is a big deal.
We should. I was before we got on today. I was trying to get through all the names. I was like, see, I know there's Brian in here. I know there's Tony. I was going up and down the email list as to who sent in stories. I'm like, I'm not going to get them all together before you jump on here with me. And I'm like, and I know I've been doing this week after week, but again, folks, it is appreciated. Everyone who sends me a story, I do deeply appreciate it. Because you guys make this show go. And again, I do really, really appreciate all the stories that are sent to us, including even.
I like to know who I can blame for the bad ones, the ones that make me cringe when they're disgusting.
Oh, those are the best. Those are the best. And I have a feeling, well, I'll tell you, half of the cringy ones are Tony.
I kind of figured.
Yeah. I think he does that on purpose. But see, that's why I love
Tony. Love it, Tony.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
That's why I love Tony. He sends the cringy ones. That is him. I could tell you that right off the bat. But see, that's why Tony's one of my favorites. Because he has no shame. And I like that about him.
I like that about him too.
Yeah. Unabashedly unashamed as he sends in his stories, which you got to love it. So keep it coming, Tony, and everybody else. Because I love the submissions to Dumb Crimes, Stupid Criminals, and even the ones too. And the other thing too is people are finding some of the really creepy AI stories for Supernatural News. I've gotten some creepy AI stories for this week for Supernatural News.
Oh gosh.
I think people are trying to get me to hunker down in my basement and not come out. I think that's they're getting close too. My therapy bills are getting high.
Hunkering down in my basement and never coming out is like my dream.
I'm getting there. It's getting really close.
Oh, I know. It's a scary world, Tim.
It is. It is. We could either start really scary or really funny. Which do you want to start with?
Ooh. Let's start with scary, and then you can make me laugh to kind of cleanse my palate.
All right. Actually, you want to start on a supernatural front?
Oh, I'd love to.
Start you off with a Tony story. Ready for this?
I'll brace myself.
Men are jailed for. Actually, this was sent to me by many people, but Tony was the first one to send this to me.
All right.
Men were jailed for witchcraft murder plot against Zambia's president.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
here's a president right here. He's the one who said men were involved in a witchcraft plot against him.
Uh-oh. And it probably wasn't the bibbity bobbity boo kind of magic, was it?
No.
The scary stuff.
I think our late night hosts have it rough. These guys are in for witchcraft, evidently. A court in Zambia has sentenced 2 men to 2 years in prison for attempting to use witchcraft to kill President, I believe it is Hakainde Hikalima. I nailed it. I stuck the landing. Zambian Leonard Fury and Mozambican Justin Mabulese Kandunde. Bless me.
Nailing them all.
Yeah, I'm just hurdling them like they're nothing.
It's like they're not even there.
Well, my Mozambique is pretty good. You know, I spent time.
I would say.
Yeah, when in college, I had a little internship over in Mozambique.
You did not.
No, I didn't. Totally didn't. But did you feel like for a moment I might have?
I was almost buying it, and then I was like, it doesn't sound quite right.
Yeah, me and Justin, we had a little card game running in Mozambique for a while. No. Those two were convicted under the Witchcraft Act. Bet you didn't know there was one.
Wow, they have that there? That's amazing.
They have that there. After being arrested in December with charms in their possession, including a live chameleon.
Oh.
Yeah, don't carry a chameleon around with you, Jess.
Got that stuffed in your pocket?
Yeah, you know, what they didn't know was it was just the gecko from the Geico commercials, and he was trying to save them 10% on their car insurance, and
yeah,
yet they got busted with it.
They're like, is that a live chameleon in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Right. They're like, no, we are just trying to save on our car insurance. And then boom, you're guilty of witchcraft. According to Magistrate Fine Mayumbu. How would you like to be a fine Mayumbu? He said, it is my considered view that the convicts were not only the enemy of the head of state, but were also enemies of all Zambians. Boy, that's a threat. All for holding the live chameleon.
And the charms. Don't forget the charms.
Yes, the lucky charms. I forgot about that as well. The case has been closely followed in Zambia, as this was the first time anyone was put on trial for attempting to use witchcraft against the president. The prosecution alleged that Fury and Kandunde were hired by a fugitive former MP to bewitch Hikalima, I believe it is. Hikalima. Yeah, that's something like that. I stuck the landing the first time. I blew it the second time. Despite their insistence that they were bona fide traditional healers, the court found them guilty on 2 counts under the Witchcraft Act. The 2 accepted ownership of the charms. Fury further demonstrated that the chameleon's tail, once pricked and used in the ritual, could cause death to occur within 5 days, according to Magistrate Mayumbu. The lawyer for the 2 men, Agrippa Malando, said his clients pleaded for leniency as they were first-time offenders. He urged the court to fine them, but the request was rejected. Magistrate Mayumbu noted that that many people in Zambia, like in other African countries, believed in witchcraft, even though it was not scientifically proven. The law was designed to protect society from fear and harm caused by those claiming to have the power to carry out acts of witchcraft, rather, he said. The question is not whether the accused are wizards or actually possess supernatural powers. It is whether they represented themselves as such. And the evidence clearly shows that they did, according to the magistrate. In addition to the 2-year sentence they were given for professing witchcraft, the men were sentenced to 6 months in prison for possessing charms. As the sentences will run concurrently, they will only serve 2 years in prison, effective from the date of their arrest in December of 2024, which means they get out in December of 2026. Hikalema has previously said he does not believe in witchcraft. So why do we even prosecute him?
Question.
He has not commented on the case either. Lawyer Dixon Jere told the BBC that the Witchcraft Act was passed during colonial rule in 1914. So yeah, it's only 100 and some years old.
Probably let that law go, maybe.
Yeah, I think we can, probably safely push that one to the side. He said people were very rarely prosecuted for practicing witchcraft, but it helped protect elderly women who face mob justice in villages after being accused of bewitching someone and causing their death. God.
That's still happening?
I guess.
Yikes.
Witchcraft is also featured prominently in conversations over the protracted dispute between the government and the family of the late President Edgar Lungu over his funeral. Some people believe that the government's insistence that he should be buried in Zambia, contrary to his family's wishes, may be for occult reasons. They're still discussing this in 2025.
Lots of superstition.
Yeah. The government has denied that accusation, by the way. Lungu died in South Africa in June, and his body is still in a morgue there because of the failure to reach agreement over his burial.
Oh, just leaving him there then.
Yeah, just, chilling. So we can decide whether there's some weird stuff at play. So our friend Bijou sent this one in to us. Speaking of bizarre, by the way, how much is too much is the question here.
It depends on what you're talking about, Tim.
Well, in this case, we're talking about how many drinks is too many. Let me ask you how drunk you would have to be to not recognize that your spouse is in the seat next to you.
Well, pretty drunk. Drunker than I would probably ever get. I can't imagine.
Well, one woman hit that threshold this weekend.
Wow. Go, girl.
And of course, we're going to Florida because that's how they can get that. You have to be in Florida to hit this threshold, Jess. A woman blamed her husband for driving during a DUI stop, but he wasn't there. This actually happened in Orlando, folks, on Highway 4. A woman who was allegedly driving drunk said her husband was the one driving the wrong way down the interstate, but he was not in the car. She got pulled over. I want you to imagine this, folks. Driving the wrong way on the interstate. Cars are swerving around you. You get pulled over by the cops. Officer, my husband was driving. You're in the driver's seat, and there's no one beside you. That's how drunk you are.
That's pretty drunk.
Yeah. Over the weekend, a Florida Highway Patrol officer stopped the car using a pit maneuver on Interstate 4. She didn't even pull over herself. They had to take the car out to get her off the road.
Wow, that's so bad. That's so scary. Someone coming down the interstate the wrong direction. Oh.
And then had to be taken out.
Throw the book at her.
The driver displayed signs of impairment and was arrested. The woman's breath alcohol content initially, Jess, 0.99. First time she blows that breathalyzer. I can't imagine you can move at that point.
How are you even still alive?
I don't know. Next time she blows into that, and this must have been the blood content, was 0.202. So that had to be maybe hours afterwards. I got to think that was a blood test.
Oh my gosh.
More than double the legal limit of 0.08.
So this is like after she's starting to sober up a little bit.
Yeah, I got to think that's hours afterwards in a jail cell.
Dang.
Because the initial contact, 0.99.
That was quite a party she was having.
That's almost 10 times the legal limit. Oh. I mean, you got to have what? What is it? 4 whiskeys, 6 whiskeys? No, 4 whiskeys in order to hit 0.08.
I love how you know this.
I think it is.
You calculated that.
Well, for me, I think it's 4 whiskeys I got to have in order to hit 0.08. Yeah. So, yeah. That's an insane amount of alcohol.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like I have a 2 drink rule. No one needs to see me with more than 2 drinks in my system. And I don't need to see myself the next day hungover.
I got to think she's going to be a little more than hungover at 0.99.
Well, how much do you have to consume? And that's my other question. When you drink that much, your stomach is only so big.
Right.
Like you only have so much space for so much liquid.
Yeah.
How miserable would you be?
At some point, the body has to eject some of that, right? I mean, it just, because it's poison. It is.
Yeah, it literally is poison.
Yeah. So at some point, it has to go, well, let's get rid of it. We're done. We've had enough. So it's got to get rid of it. The woman blamed her husband, by the way, and said he was the one driving the wrong way on the interstate, but she was the only one in the vehicle. So when the cops pull her over, she's like, nope, my husband did it. But really, your husband did it? Your husband?
That poor guy. He gets blamed for everything.
Right. He probably does for everything at home, right? Authorities said that thankfully nobody was hurt in the entire incident. So was it her husband's fault that nobody got hurt then too?
He was protecting everyone.
That's right.
He must have been wearing the invisible suit.
Yes. He had the invisible suit on at the time that I had tailored specially for you. He might have
He's
stretched
just sitting in the back seat naked as a jaybird.
Yeah. He might have stretched it out a little bit, Jess. I might have to have it tailored before you try it on later. Well, I'm watching a Fantastic Four movie on video. Just
it's getting weird again. Next story.
Okay, next story. Sorry. Well, it's good. It's about to stay weird. Ice cream trucks. Are they good or do you believe they're evil?
Well, I have my suspicions that everyone who drives one is a pedophile, so I think they're evil.
See, pedophile or drug dealer?
I mean, either way, yeah, they're just bad.
See,
what grown adult wants to do a job where they're just driving around an ice cream truck with little kids running up to you, freaking out?
Some people think it's an easy job. The ice cream truck in this neighborhood, he drives like 40 miles an hour down the street. I think he's a coke dealer. I think he's only at certain stops. I don't think he's out there.
It's not about the ice cream. Yeah, if he was selling ice cream, he'd be going slow. He'd be playing the music.
Now, recently, can I spill some tea here for a minute?
Yes, please.
There's a rival ice cream dealer that's been driving truck in this neighborhood.
Uh-oh.
I think he isn't long for this world.
You're going to have some violence going down.
That's right. I don't think it's rival ice cream dealer. See the air quotes?
Yeah, no way.
Yeah. I think someone's moving in on the other ice cream truck driver, if you know what I mean. I think we got an ice cream war going on over here, Jess.
You stay safe then. Not scary. You could get caught in the crossfire.
Tell you, I don't go out on my porch at certain times of day when I hear the music.
Nope.
Nope.
You hear that music, you stay inside. You stay safe.
I stay in the house and I stay strapped.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear you're safe.
I've seen Boys in the Hood. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
You might think you want one of those SpongeBob ice cream pops with the gumball eyes, but don't you dare go out there.
That ain't no SpongeBob, sister. That ain't no SpongeBob. I know what SpongeBob ice cream means when you go up to the truck. Yeah. Yeah. When you say, can I get me one of them snowballs? I know what it means.
Yeah, for real.
I'm hip to the lingo. Mm-hmm. Anyways, the story. Okay, so we were talking about ice cream trucks. Mm-hmm. So the driver of an ice cream truck trespassed after harassing and threatening some Colombian coffee shop baristas. See what I mean? There's stuff going on in that world.
Whoa. Yeah.
Let me tell you about this story because it is crazy. Of course, we're going to Florida, Jess.
Yes. I love it there.
And I'm telling you, there's a whole world going on there with ice cream trucks. I know people are like, Tim, I'm not living in your world. Things are weird in that world. The driver of an ice cream truck has been banned from a shopping plaza off US 301 after allegedly making a pit stop during his shift to harass and threaten employees at the Cali Cafe in Riverview. The local coffee shop business is a Riverview staple and has offered Colombian coffee and baked goods for 6 years. Or are they offering more? Colombian? Hmm?
It's either coffee or it's drugs.
See? Ice cream truck, Coke dealer, Colombian coffee.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, rival gangs going on here.
I think you're onto something.
Or I'm on something, one or the other. There's a lot of tolerance on both sides right now. It's not conclusive to dialogue. Just come in and have a conversation. Not this, said the owner, Rick Oliveros. Why does he need a conversation with an ice cream truck driver? One's doing coffee and pastries. The other's doing ice cream.
Very suspicious.
Yeah. Why do they need a sit down, Jess? Very curious.
Curiouser and curiouser, Tim.
Yeah. The incident occurred around midday on Friday when the man was heard yelling and screaming at baristas over a large Colombian flag that the local business uses as a marker for customers. He was telling us that we were illegally flying the flag. That is just my culture, my business, Oliveros said. After bringing multiple workers to tears, he left the property and returned to the truck. They thought he was going for a weapon. They were all in tears, fear of losing their lives, Oliveros said. What ice cream truck guy carries a weapon?
A drug lord kind.
Yeah, the kind that's dealing out of his truck.
Yeah.
The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office has removed the man from the property, but did not arrest him on any charges. Want to know why, Jess? Maybe because he's got him paid off.
I was going to say probably paying him under the table.
That's right, Jess. See? Do you see how I'm connecting those dots right now? See how that red thread goes from one side of the board to the other?
Yeah, and some people might think it's crazy, but it makes a lot of sense to me, Tim.
See? Ice cream truck drivers, Jess. Ice cream truck drivers.
Dealers.
Yeah. They're everywhere. They literally are everywhere. I mean, especially in the
They
summer.
really are. They're
Yeah.
all over my neighborhood all the time.
Yep. That whole do 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 whatever they play in that truck. That's
Yeah, it's always creepy music too. It sounds like it's like a dying
yeah, as it
music
drives off.
box. Yeah.
As it drives off and I don't.
I'm just so glad my kids don't like run out the door after it anymore. Nobody cares anymore. They're old enough.
I just snatched intern Yoko by the collar the other day. She's like, ice cream. I went, no, drug dealer.
I think she might have a problem, Tim.
Oh, well, maybe she's got a little, maybe she's got a little problem. I don't question.
Keep an eye on her.
Yeah, but I had to be like, there's no ice cream in that truck. I had to
It's
remind.
like, I know I want my crack.
Yeah. Oh, don't say that, Jess. I mean, our guest before was it was a story of redemption from crack. I mean, bad timing, Jess. Bad timing. Yeah, I mean.
Hey, meth, is that different than crack? I don't know my drugs.
I don't know, all the same. But that's all right. I love bad timing jokes. They're fun.
I'm here for them.
Yeah, I'm here for them. I'll
Hold
bite.
on. I just got to pull my foot out of my mouth. Give me a minute.
No, you're good. You're good. All right. I'm sure Chris would find it funny too. Although he never does mention getting crack from an ice cream truck. I wonder if that's one. I should have asked him when he was on the show.
You should have asked him.
Can you get crack from an ice cream truck?
Yeah, like tell us the truth.
I should have asked him.
Is your dealer really the ice cream truck driver?
I bet they are. I bet they're one of the
I'm
easiest sources of crack.
interested.
Yeah. See, I'm going to change people's minds. They're going to start looking. Now they're going to look twice at an ice cream truck driver when they come by.
Oh, and these poor innocent ice cream truck drivers are like, we're just trying to make a living.
I mean, come on. It's $5. It's $5 now for an ice cream it's like $5 to $7 for an ice cream out of an ice cream truck.
They're outrageous. And that's my thing. I'm like, I'm too practical. The poor kid in me dies hard. I'm like, you can buy a whole box of those for $5.
Right. I mean, I'm still the kid who goes, that much to go to Dairy Queen? Let me go get you a half gallon of ice cream out of there.
Yeah.
grocery store. Yeah. I'll make you a sundae. That's why
I like a coupon,
Yeah. That's why I wanted a slushie machine for my birthday. I'll make slushies at home.
Oh, yeah, you just make it right out of your freezer. You got ice and
Yeah.
buy those liquid, delicious tasting syrups they're pretty cheap.
Oh, not even that. With the slushie machine now, you can take sodas and you can put it in the slushie machine. You can make your own.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah. Like right before the show, I made a black cherry slushie. I used.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to tell you the brand I used, but there's a cheaper brand of black cherry soda out there. You just simply pour it into the slushie machine. And in half an hour, you have black cherry slushies. I mean, it's not great for the diabetes, but hey, it's pretty good.
You gotta treat yourself once in a while.
Well, it's the first time this week I have, first time this week. Like I'm going back 5 or 10 times, but no, I mean, it's just, it's a Monday. Every once in a while on a Monday, you need to do a little something to, get yourself by. You know what I mean? So
that's right. As long as you're not doing it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day.
Well, on the weekends I do, but other than that, just saying. Our next story, Jess, has to do with police cameras that tracked one driver. By the way, have you ever been caught speeding on a police camera?
I don't think so. I mean, I've gotten a ticket for speeding just in real time, but never from a camera.
Okay. A lot of people have complained about police cameras and the fact that they think police cameras are impinging or infringing on their rights. I know the city of Minneapolis recently has installed these cameras all over Minneapolis, but the fact of the matter is they've said, okay, but we're not going to, when we catch you speeding by camera, we're not going to automatically send you a ticket the first time, but what we're going to do is we're going to send you a warning. So because they can't, it's not, I'm trying to remember what and I know I have some cop buddies out there that will email me and tell me why it's not technically legal the first time around to send a ticket out automatically. At least in this municipality, it isn't. In other areas of the country, it is. They can tag you for speeding or actually going through a red light.
Okay. Can they see who's driving in the cameras? I mean, I think that would be the thing.
That's what it is. They can't prove the driver. Okay. So a lot of people can get out of these tickets by saying, "Hey, I wasn't driving." And it used to be, the cameras now are much more sharper. They're HD cameras now.
Right.
So they can say, "No, that's you. We can tell that's you." It used to be they could never tell if it was you or not, or they could say, "Hey, I borrowed the car that day," or "It wasn't me driving," or but that can get you in trouble with your insurance company. So easy ways to get out of those tickets. But police cameras, believe it or not, pretty much got this one driver 526 times in 4 months, according to a lawsuit.
Whoa, that's a lot of speeding.
Yeah, and that's a lot of times going through red lights.
That was all for running red lights?
Well, let's find out. Lee Schmidt, who's a retired veteran, wanted to know more about the license plate cameras tracking him in Norfolk, Virginia, where he lives. So he sued a co-plaintiff and legal nonprofit and got the answer. 176 cameras across the city logged his location 526 times between February 19th and July 2nd. This according to a court filing.
I didn't even think I go out of the house that many times.
Right? That's about 4 times per day, by the way, that he was tracked. So holy big brother.
Where's he going?
Well, now that could be between work and back that he was tracked 4 times, because a lot of times they've got these cameras on interstates, in the sane lanes.
Okay.
They've got them at intersections, right? And sometimes when you drive,
so 4 times on different cameras. Yeah.
Yep. On different cameras. Right.
Okay.
He says it's a crazy high number. It was shocking, Schmidt told NBC News. The creepiness level just went straight up. The cameras are operated by Flock Safety, which is a company that has grown swiftly in recent years and now bills itself as the largest public-private safety network in the country. It was founded in 2017. Flock offers a wide range of data generating surveillance equipment, including drones, audio gunshot detectors, and body-worn video cameras for police officers, which can then be combined with the company's software products that include everything from searchable databases to real-time maps. Flock is relatively new to the automatic license plate readers, or ALPR, market, but has become the largest provider of technology in the country. Flock sells a subscription model to install and maintain ALPRs and give police, businesses, and homeowners associations a constant stream of surveillance data. The lawsuit is specifically concerned with Norfolk's ALPRs, finding that the company struck a $2.2 million deal with the city for the camera system through the end of 2027. Surveillance has become near omnipresent in America, and with more awareness and understanding of technology, citizens are starting to ask more questions about what and who is watching. Schmidt is one of two plaintiffs in the lawsuit against Norfolk. The local police department is one of more than 5,000 across the country that use ALPRs from Flock Safety, Minneapolis being one of them. Flock also sells its technology to over 1,000 commercial businesses, as well as to homeowners associations. The Norfolk Police Department referred NBC News to the city of Norfolk for comment. A spokesperson for the city said it does not comment on ongoing litigation. For years, ALPRs have quietly blanketed U.S. roads and highways, snapping photos of every car that goes by and storing the time and location in case it later proves helpful for a police investigation. Usually, drivers don't know how frequently their trips are logged. But the lawsuit against Norfolk sheds light on just how frequently drivers' movements are recorded without a warrant for that information. Flock began installing cameras in Norfolk, home to around 230,000 people in 2003, and there are now 176 around the city, the filing says. Norfolk's license data has been accessed around 200,000 times. Schmidt's co-plaintiff, Crystal Arrington, a healthcare worker who lives nearby, was surveilled even more. Her location was logged 849 times between February 19th and July 3rd, averaging more than 6 times a day. And she hasn't done anything wrong.
That's outrageous.
Yeah. One person in the greater Norfolk area who is mentioned but unnamed in the suit was logged 14 times over the course of 6.5 hours. Yeah.
That is really creepy to think that you're being that monitored.
Yeah. And you haven't done anything. Schmidt and Arrington are represented by the Institute for Justice, which is a nonprofit libertarian law firm that argues in the case that the use of cameras without a warrant constitutes an unreasonable search that violates the Fourth Amendment, which is technically correct. The lawsuit is asking for the cameras to be disabled and all data on the plaintiffs deleted. A Flock spokesperson said that previous cases, including the one from March with the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, found that license plate readers do not violate the Fourth Amendment. Fourth Amendment case law overwhelmingly shows that LPRs do not constitute a warrantless search because they take point-in-time photos of cars in public and cannot continuously track the movements of any individual, the spokesperson said. Some states have been pushing back. Earlier this year, Virginia passed a law that largely prohibits sharing ALPR data outside the state. I think it's starting to see how many data points just driving your car through one city can add up to, said Matthew Gariglia, who's a senior policy analyst at the nonprofit Electronic Frontier Foundation, who studies the history of surveillance. These numbers seem right to me, but it's still unnerving to get a real concrete idea how ALPRs are essentially mass surveillance, he told NBC News. Well, technically it is. I mean, let's face it. We've all watched Law and Order, right? So it takes nothing to say, okay, if I want to follow a suspect throughout a day, I can take all that surveillance data and I can track somebody. If they've been tracked on a camera throughout the day, I can take a license plate of their car with all that data. I can just go point A to point B and go, and there we go. And that's where they've been. Right?
guess in my brain, I'm kind of like, it doesn't bother me so much because I'm not really doing anything wrong. And I'd rather that they have the information to catch the bad guys if they need it. You see a lot of that now where they're able to see like a car that drove past after those Idaho kids were killed at the college. They were able to track his car because of cameras, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't think they were traffic cameras necessarily, but like if they're able to capture someone because of that, I mean, they can track me 500 times a day. I don't care. I'm not doing anything.
Right. And I mean, that's the argument, for an innocent person. Yeah, I haven't done anything, so go ahead and track me. But what about the cases where it's mistaken identity?
Yeah.
You can piece together something and say, well, I think this person did it because it just so happened to be in the area. You can misconstrue a lot of stuff and put a case together on that too.
Well, hopefully it's just one layer of the onion, right? Like it's one piece of the puzzle that makes them convict someone or even bring them in for a trial.
Right. Right. But again, it's a tool, and a tool can be misused.
That's true.
Yeah. That's the thing that's scary. So, and it's again, it's a thing that can be misused by humans, and why are we taking, again, it's like saying, well, let me just drive by your house and take pictures of your house, and take pictures inside your window. Why wouldn't you just let me take pictures inside your window? Let me take random pictures of you.
Because it's messy in here and I'm wearing an invisible suit, Tim.
That's right.
It's inappropriate.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, but let me just take pictures of the invisible suit at random. Why not? What are you going to
and people generally just don't like to feel like they're being monitored. That's like an invasion of your privacy.
Well,
really is what it feels like.
It is. It's an invasion of your privacy. And what you do with that data, that's the whole thing. What are you going to do with that data? Because at that point, I mean, data is commerce at this point. It really is.
Oh yeah, data's huge.
Yeah. And data can be corrupted. Data can be stolen. Data can be corrupted. Data can be sold. I mean, it's more than just, the government's collecting it in case it needs it. At this point, look at how often, I mean, if you look at the statistics now of how often things get hacked, governments are getting hacked left and right, Jess.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that information's not safe. It's not safe in anybody's hands. Governments are getting hacked left and right. So
and we do everything online, right? Like we're constantly putting in our personal information for everything we do. I bank online. I my whole life is online.
Yep. Yeah. So it's not safe. Your information's not safe anywhere. It's just not. I mean,
No.
I hate to make people stay up at night, but it's not safe anywhere. So
that's why I have one of those like tracking things that we pay for every year so that they monitor like our identity and if something is like, even if I go to Target, this is kind of a funny thing that happens. If I go to Target and I spend less than like $200, it notifies me of unusual activity at Target because I'm like, you only spent $70.
Right. But you have to have that these days. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to. We've gotten to that as a society. Yeah. And you're doing the smart thing. You really are doing the smart thing. I mean, I've had my digital profile hacked 3 times now.
Yikes.
And it's because I've had to do business online. That's just the way of the world. I've gotten my money back each time, but that doesn't matter. It's just the way, that's just the way the world is. It's crooked. And
it's scary.
Yeah, that's the price we paid for getting away from real money. It's too flexible. It's too corruptible. We can't do it. I somehow we've got to get back to real money. It just it's the digital stuff is just ridiculous. It's just too easy to corrupt. It really is. Okay, off my soapbox now. Let's get back to the funny. I don't know how funny this one is, but this one's a Minnesota story. Because, we're kind of funny up here in the Midwest. A fake cop wearing anti-ice hat tries to pull over an unmarked police car. I don't know if you heard about this story last week.
No.
Yeah, this guy kind of had it coming in the worst way. A Minnesota man is accused of impersonating a police officer while harassing a real officer in an unmarked police squad car on a highway, leading to a bizarre roadside confrontation. You know what they say? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. This guy's a little too old to be doing this. 47-year-old Luke Reuter is facing charges, including assault with a dangerous weapon, fleeing a police officer in a motor vehicle, and impersonating a peace officer, according to a criminal complaint filed September 12th in Hennepin County. An officer with the Maple Grove Police Department was driving on Interstate 94 at 9:40 a.m. on September 11th, of all days, when investigators say a vehicle driven by Reuter began tailgating the officer, who was driving at the 60-mile-per-hour speed limit, the complaint said. The officer was in uniform, but driving an unmarked police cruiser. Okay, I'm going to stop right here, because if you're that stupid and don't have your eyes that peeled, unmarked police cruisers are still pretty easy to spot.
Yes.
Because they're either A, SUVs, B, Crown Vics, or C, they're Dodge Challengers or Vipers or whatever they're driving, they're Dodges. They're easy to spot, guys, and they have lights in the grill. I mean, because they go whoop whoop when they
don't they normally also have like a license plate that indicates? I think they have to have the license plate.
Yeah, the license plate's pretty easy to spot too. So the officer's in uniform, and he's in uniform. I mean, the guy doesn't look like a regular citizen, right? And if he's going 60 in the left lane, okay, yeah, he's technically he's going 5 over, so he's not. But if you really have a problem with him, go around.
Right.
Right, and then let him blow you up and pull you over. Okay. A few minutes later, Reuter accelerated and changed lanes as if to cut the officer off. Okay, bad form. Just speed up, go around him, but don't get mad at him, right? Because then he's going to pull you over.
Right.
The officer then flashed his lights and stated slow down before turning his lights back off, the official said. Further down the highway, investigators said Reuter pulled up alongside the officer while holding an object in his hand. This is where the guy fucked up.
What?
Because the officer basically gave him a little flash of the lights to tell him slow, right?
You gave him a warning.
Right. I mean, I've had people flash their lights at me before. No big deal. I don't flip them off or anything. I'm like, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the officer sped up to get away because he didn't know what the object was, assuming the guy's holding like a weapon.
Right. Yeah.
Reuter drove up to the unmarked again, pointing a cell phone at the officer, then cut him off and slowed down in front of him. This guy's a few fries short of a Happy Meal. You can't tell. I mean, you've pulled up next to him. You have to see he's wearing a uniform.
Yeah, he's in uniform. That's the thing.
You're asking for it now. The officer took an exit off the highway in an attempt to get away from the vehicle or to initiate a traffic stop. So he's trying to renegotiate himself so he can get behind this guy and probably pull a pit maneuver. I don't know. Reuter followed, and the officer stopped and radioed for backup because at this point, he's taken him out.
Yeah, because he's behaving in a scary way.
Right. Reuter pulled up behind the officer, a red light shining from the driver's side of his vehicle, police said. Then he got out wearing an anti-ice hat reading, "Fuck ice," and started walking toward the officer.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Defendant stated he had a body camera while pointing a cell phone at the officer as he was conducting a traffic stop, the complaint said. The officer told Reuter he was under arrest and returned to his car to get away, police said, though the officer blocked his escape 3 times before he managed to flee the scene. At one point, officials say Reuter nearly hit the officer with his car. Investigators say they discovered that during the incident, Reuter called 911 and said he had just had a run-in with a fake police officer and that the fake was the officer he's accused of harassing.
you think he really thought he was fake?
No. No, I think he was just trying to get the hell out of there and cause a diversion. Police located Reuter at his home in Invergrove Heights and arrested him the same day, according to the complaint. Inside Reuter's car, investigators said they found numerous red and blue lights, a police-style flashlight, as well as a rear-view mirror-mounted dash camera with cords and 4 interior LED light bars with remotes and cords. What this guy is your basic little dick swinging cop wannabe type of guy.
Yes.
It's not the first time that cops have ever seen this. He's a police wannabe who goes around with he got his little badge from Amazon, and he got the light bars from Amazon, and I'm sure he's got whatever, and he runs out there and he tries to impersonate the cop and make people think that he's got something over somebody, but he finally met his match. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So, well, unfortunately, it's too bad that cop had to run into him, but I'm glad they got the guy. I mean,
I'm glad they got him too. People like that are scary.
They are. They're very scary because they think that they are the law. They just aren't. And they really do need to be put in their place. People like that are absolutely frightening because you don't know what extent they'll get to or go to. So I'm glad they did get that guy. So, all right, on to the next one, the opposite side of the spectrum. And this was sent in by one of our listeners as well. A Bay Area celebrity chef robbed 3 banks in one day.
What?
Well, food's expensive these days. If you want to make a really expensive dish, Jess, you got to have the cash, right?
He was making lobster.
I guess, right? Some sort of filet and lobster dish, evidently. Valentino Luchin faced similar charges in 2018 after robbing a bank in Orinda. That must be in California. A prominent Bay Area chef was arrested last week for allegedly robbing 3 San Francisco banks in a single day, according to authorities. 62-year-old Valentino Luchin of San Francisco was taken into custody on September 10th after allegedly passing notes demanding money to bank tellers at 3 separate locations in the city's central district, according to the San Francisco Police Department. His bail is set at $200,000.
Oh, 62?
60?
Like an elderly gentleman just out there robbing banks.
Just a senior chef out there trying to get his cheese, his cake.
3 in one day.
Yep. The first incident occurred at 12:02 p.m. when Luchin allegedly entered a bank in Chinatown and passed a note to an employee demanding money, according to police. After receiving the cash, he fled the scene. 2 more banks in the central district were allegedly robbed similarly that same day. Investigators, aided by San Francisco Police Department ambassadors and community tips, identified Luchin as a suspect and arrested him without incident, according to police. He was booked into the San Francisco County Jail on charges of robbery and attempted robbery. The arrest marked Luchin's second brush with bank robbery charges. In 2018, he admitted to robbing a city bank in Orinda, California, making off with over $15,000. He gave ABC News-owned station in San Francisco, KGO, according to an interview, he gave ABC News-owned station KGO from the Martinez detention facility at the time. In other words, he made off with that and then gave them an interview. During the interview, Luchin, a distinguished Italian chef known for his expertise in regional cuisine and the former owner of Ottavio restaurants in Walnut Creek, blamed financial struggles after his establishment closed in 2016. He said, "We've been struggling a lot financially, and I have a family," he told KGO. "It wasn't something I was planning or doing for a living." In the 2018 incident, Orinda police said Luchin used what he later claimed was a BB gun and was arrested within 3 hours of the robbery at an athletic club parking lot in Lafayette. Before his legal troubles, Luchin had built a reputation in the culinary world, working in top restaurants worldwide and specializing in menu design and culinary management. He previously served as an executive chef at San Francisco's Italian restaurant Rose Pistola, where he was known for combining traditional Italian cooking methods with innovative techniques. I didn't think Italian food was that expensive. I mean, the only thing I can think of is the veal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise
Or
it's,
what's that kind of beef they have now? Maguin or something? It's like super expensive. That's not necessarily Italian,
you're
but
talking Kobe beef?
I swear it starts with an M, but maybe I dreamt it. I don't know. Maybe it was,
I don't know. You're on something.
I'm on something.
Oh, you're onto something. You're right. It's well, here, let's do the old Google.
Maguin. I want to say it's like Maguin. I don't know. Man, I think when I'm in my 60s, I'd be too tired to rob three banks at one time. I think I could only do one in a day.
Well, that's a lot of energy, right?
That's a lot of work.
Or is it? I mean, you walk into a bank, you hand them a note, you say, "Give me all your money." I mean,
I guess. I would think though it would like get your heart rate pumping though. It'd be a lot of adrenaline.
Well, yeah. I mean, you do get a little shot of adrenaline when you go in and do that. Oh, let me see here. Okay, you're right. It's Matsusaka.
No.
It's a Wagyu beef. It's one of the
Yes,
three
that's
big,
it.
yeah. It's Matsusuka is one of the three Sandai Wagyu beefs. It's one of the three big beefs. The other being Kobe beef and Omi beef, or Yanezawa beef. About 2,500 cows are slaughtered for Matsusaka beef each year. The meat commands a high price. So see,
Sounds delicious.
yeah, Matsusaka. Yeah, you're right. See,
Something was in my brain.
Yeah, you got to stick to your guns, kid. You're right. See, Matsusaka. You educated me today. I hadn't heard of Matsusaka.
There you go.
Yeah. Matsusaka. I wonder how expensive it is.
I know, but I feel like we should go out and have some.
Yeah, most definitely.
Find some in the metro. I'll meet you there.
Have you ever had real Japanese Kobe beef?
I don't think so. No.
It's a treat.
Does it just melt in your mouth?
Yeah, like butter. It's good stuff. Good stuff. We'll have to do real Kobe someday. It's amazing. A real Kobe steak goes for anywhere from $250 to $500.
Dang.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It's worth it. Definitely worth it. And
we can do a double date and get one and split it among the four of us.
It'll be like a little piece like this big, but yeah.
We're like, no sides, just the one piece of meat.
Just a piece of meat. Oh, for that
all we can afford.
For that price in a restaurant, you'll get a little tiny piece of asparagus with it too. So, yeah, definitely we'll be going out for McDonald's afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No drinks, just water.
Wash it down with a Big Mac because you're gonna need something afterwards. That's for sure. Our next story has to do with, and this again sent by one of our listeners, a scuba-clad man robs Disney Springs restaurant and swims away. Speaking of
wow.
Yeah. I've never thought of robbing Disney in a scuba suit, but hey, why not?
That's a new kind of getaway car.
It kind of is. I wonder if this happened in, well, let's find out. Because Disney Springs, if you think about it, if you're entering by water, there's alligators there.
Yes. Didn't a kid get eaten by an alligator at Disney?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, there's a blanket you can buy where it's the kid blanket with the alligator mouth on it. Have you ever seen that?
That's not funny.
But you're laughing. But there's a kid blanket you can buy with the alligator, and it's supposed to be a Disney joke. Have you ever seen it?
No, that's such a bad joke.
I know it's a bad joke, but it came out right after the incident with the kid.
Oh, God.
We'll go to Lake Buena Vista, Florida, where investigators are searching for a man who robbed a popular Disney Springs restaurant after it was closed to guests. Sources familiar with the investigation said they believe the man swam up to the Paddlefish restaurants shortly after midnight on Monday, stole thousands of dollars, and then swam away. A report by Orange County deputies indicated that the man found a place to store his wetsuit and scuba gear before walking into the manager's office, where cash from the night was being counted and deposited into a safe. The report shows the man forced 2 employees to go to the corner of the room and told them to close their eyes. The report is heavily redacted, but sources familiar with the investigation said he tied the employees up. The man stole between $10,000 and $20,000 per the pending charge. The employees said he left within 2 minutes and they called 911 after freeing themselves. Neither of the employees were hurt and the man did not brandish any weapons. So wait, he walked in and said, just get in the corner and then tied him up?
And you're like, okay.
And they were like, okay, sure, yeah. And he didn't have a weapon? Huh?
Well, maybe that's what they're trained to do. If in doubt, just assume that he's armed.
Was this guy 6'7" and 400 pounds? What was it about this guy that you went, okay?
He had a mean look about him.
I guess.
Did he have the wetsuit on when he robbed him?
No, he took it off. Was he standing there naked and had 16 inches of swinging death? What scared you about him? That you're like, Jesus, what a huge cock. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead and take our money. I mean, I know we're not safe for work area yet, but I mean, what was it that scared you about this guy?
That's crazy.
There's no way. If there's 3.
And then my next question is, what did he do with the money when he stole it? Did he have like pockets in his wetsuit he could stick it in, or like a waterproof fanny pack that he stuck it in? Like, how do you swim away with a bunch of money?
Right. I mean, okay, so the plastic deposit bags probably float, so he's probably got a hold of it, and then the money's going to get wet, right?
I'm so confused by this one, Tim.
I don't get it either. It says after leaving the replica steamboat, investigators believe the man donned his scuba gear and jumped back into the pond. A search for the man immediately after the robbery was reportedly yielded no results. What? A picture
like sitting on the bottom somewhere.
Right? A picture released by the agency showed the man appearing to spray paint a security camera. The employees described the man wearing tight clothing and a blue beanie. Now, I know Blue Meanie. He's a friend of the show, but a blue beanie? Maybe it was Blue Meanie. He can be scary at times. They said he was slim. No, that's not Blue Meanie. And approximately 5 feet, 10 inches tall. So the guy's not 6'7". He's 5'10".
He's just an average sized man, just wearing tight fitting clothes. And you're like, okay, whatever.
Well, maybe he wasn't an average sized man, if you know what I mean. Maybe he pointed to the weapon downstairs and said, you're gonna or else.
And wouldn't it take a while to get your scuba gear on? I mean, I've never been scuba diving, but I imagine it's not like a 10-second process. I feel like it would take a bit.
Yeah, at least a couple of minutes. You just stay tied up in the corner, and I'm gonna get my scuba gear on and get the hell out of here. There's 3 people here, Jess.
Crazy.
The restaurant opened as normal to guests at noon on Monday. There was no obvious signs of an increase in security around the paddlefish, so go ahead and do it again if you want. Though the tourist attraction is normally under extremely tight security by Disney staff and sheriff's deputies, you could fool me, much of which are not visible to the public. Mainly, I think, because they're napping. Because this guy just swam right up, helped himself to $10,000-$20,000 and swam away casually.
After taking like 10 minutes to put his scuba gear on.
Yeah, 10 to 20. Spray painted a camera. I don't know, probably had a latte. I don't know what he did. He took a sweet time.
Oh, wow. What a story.
Jeez. If you think that was fun, you ready for this one?
I am.
A math teacher was busted with cocaine by a drug detecting canine during a random check at a middle school. And marijuana was found in her car. So she couldn't decide whether she wanted the high or the low high. Yeah. Here's her picture right here. I think she was on the low high when they took it.
Yeah.
That's her
she
right.
Looks a little low high, low key high, as the kids say.
Like she's just rolling a stiff J there for that picture. We go to Louisiana. Yeah, we're not going to Florida for this one. Surprise, surprise.
I'm shocked.
A A middle school teacher in Louisiana ended up in handcuffs after a random drug check allegedly uncovered a stash of cocaine in her bag. Oopsie. Normally, it's the kids you would think would be on coke, but nope. It's this teacher.
Uh-huh.
47-year-old.
Trying to get through the day.
Yeah, she's just trying to make it through. Coffee didn't do it for her. A little bit of the old Coca-Cola didn't get her through the day.
If you've ever taught middle school, you'll understand.
47-year-old Virginia Summers is a math intervention teacher. Is math that hard that we need an intervention? Is that what
I mean?
Is
sometimes.
Is it the new math that we all don't understand that we need an intervention from?
The way they make them do it all weird.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Virginia Summers is a math intervention teacher at Westdale Middle School in Baton Rouge. According to a probable cause report reviewed by Law and Crime, Summers was arrested on Tuesday after a canine with the East Baton Rouge Parish School Drug Task Force detected something suspicious in her book bag. It wasn't a book, although it was thick as one. The dog, whose name is Vimson. Oh, that's a Cajun dog if I ever heard of one. Vimson. And it knows what you're saying when you say that.
Oh, that's my favorite accent you do there, Timmy.
Thank you. Alerted the human police officer to the find. The officer inspected the bag and then Summers' wallet, where he found what appeared to be cocaine. A field test allegedly confirmed the cop's suspicion, and it was not on and over the gums, as much as you like to think TV is telling you the truth. After Summers was read her rights, she allegedly told the officer that the cocaine belonged to a friend. It always does. It's always somebody else's coke. It's never yours. Summers told police that even though the cocaine found in her wallet was not hers, she said she did snort it at a tailgate party outside a Louisiana State University football game the previous weekend. She's been holding it for a while for a friend. They didn't come to pick it up, evidently.
Just being a good friend. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to get rid of it, I'll get rid of it for you. It can't sit around forever. Coke goes bad, Jess. I mean, it's
right.
Yeah. It's like a flower. It'll wilt. I mean, it comes from a flower. Police asked Summers if they could search her Honda CRV, and she consented. Oh, bad move. According to the report, officers allegedly found marijuana in 2 marijuana pipes and lighters, all stored in a small gray bag in the vehicle's glove compartment, because they'll never look there. Yeah.
It's definitely not the first place they're going to look either.
No, they never look there first. It's always in the wheel well of the tire. Whew, genius. She's a math teacher, huh? The report said there was allegedly 0.8 grams of cocaine and 0.5 grams of marijuana confiscated from Summers. She's going away for a while. Summers was charged with possession of cocaine, possession of marijuana, drug paraphernalia, and violation of controlled dangerous substances in a school zone. The kids then asked if they could bogart some of that before she leaves. She was scheduled to make her first appearance in court on Wednesday. After Summers' arrest, the East Baton Rouge Parish Public School System released a statement that was obtained by a local CBS affiliate, WFAB, acknowledging the arrest and said, "This here behavior not condoned by our district." I mean, of course they're going to say that. That there teacher Holden. Yeah. Listen. Get that there coke out of there now. That's what they said to the dog. The dog went and got it.
No, the dog's like, "Yes, sir."
Yep. Dog's like, "Sure." Then the dog went, "Woof, woof, woof. Yeah, no, yeah." That's what the dog said back to him. Just saying. All right. We're close to not safe for work territory here. An auteur is arrested as a rage baiting video scheme backfired. Let me show you the highest Asian man you'll ever see. Here he is right here on video, folks.
Oh my.
He's pretty high, isn't he?
He is very high.
Yeah.
He's feeling no pain.
No pain. That's right. He could hit a brick wall and bounce back and tell you how great it felt. Of course, we're going to Florida. A scheme to make money by posting rage-baiting videos online backfired on a Florida man who was arrested for menacing neighbors with a large stick. I know it sounds like a joke. Large stick. He was also screaming at juveniles and calling one individual the N-word. That trick never works, kids. Don't try.
Not cool.
No, don't do that on video. It's not fun. Responding to several 911 calls from the Palm Grove Village Mobile Home Park. It always starts at the mobile home park, doesn't it?
All the fun things do, Tim.
They really do. It's kind of fun that way. Police Monday discovered that Anti-Tie. Does that sound like a made-up name?
Anti-Tie.
Anti-Tie. He's 34 years old. They found him in a common area, yelling loudly at his mother, juveniles, and the mother of his children. The mother of the children, not his children, but the children involved. Ty, who Jess and I got a good look at, but he's not looking at any of us. We're over here, Mr. Ty. Because he's high as a kite.
He is sleepy and wants Cheetos.
That's right. Thank you, Jess. It's very accurate description. Reportedly told police he did this to record reactions and get money via rage baiting. Clips posted to social media. An arrest report does not identify the intended online repository for such highbrow content. But my guess is it sounds like an old grandfather clock. In other words, TikTok. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Investigators reported that Ty confronted several neighbors with a large stick while waving it around, generating fears. That trick never works. His other 12:45 a.m. antics included yelling at children, using a racial slur, and blocking vehicles from driving through the Pinellas Park property where Ty resides. Ty, charged with disorderly conduct, pled no contest to the misdemeanor charge. He was adjudicated guilty and fined $550. What a way to spend an evening.
What a dummy. Can you imagine doing, and it's in his own neighborhood, it sounds like, just to try to get TikTok views? Like,
isn't that the stupidest thing ever?
I'm just going to go out and be a raging a-hole to everyone in my neighborhood just so I can get tens of likes.
Yeah, so 10 people can tell me I'm stupid.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Nobody's going to know who more people are going to find out about him from doing that, getting arrested, than they are from
Yep.
ever posting a video. Isn't that fun? All right, it's time now for Not Safe for Work. If you have kids in the room, congratulations. They already heard me talk about somebody threatening somebody with their lower extremities.
They're already traumatized. It's too late.
It's too late, but get them out of the room anyways. If your boss is around, well, he's probably already threatened you with his lower extremities, but maybe he could stay. You probably
run to HR.
Yeah, run to HR. You know, but if he's still around, well, he can listen. But if not, get him out of the room. And you know what? We'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2. Here we go. This one's about a dumb cop who's gone to the dark side. And he wants to see your darker areas.
Oh, no.
A former Mount Laurel cop gets 12 years for hacking, distributing nude photos of females to social media. Oh, kids, that trick never works.
Nope.
A former Mount Laurel police officer is facing 12 years in prison for hacking into social media accounts of several women where he found nude images they kept of themselves and then sent them out on the victim's social media. The dumbest man in the world, 25-year-old Aaron Taylor of Morristown, was sentenced earlier this month in State Superior Court in Mount Holly after pleading guilty to elements of computer theft, which is second degree, and official misconduct, which is second degree. The sentence was part of a plea agreement with the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office. Prosecutor Lucia L. Bradshaw said in a statement, "You cannot hide from us in cyberspace. We are there too, and we know how to find you." This was an extremely nightmarish invasion of privacy for these victims. It was made even more egregious by the fact that the person who was terrorizing these young ladies was a law enforcement officer. The prosecutor's office outlined the crime and the investigation. The first report was from a victim in September of 2022, was to the, I believe it is the Evesham Police Department. She said her Snapchat and Facebook accounts had been hacked and her nude photos were sent to her Snapchat contacts, messaged to Facebook friends, and posted to her Facebook account. Now, you know you've been hacked when that happens.
Oh, that would be so embarrassing.
Yeah. The investigation revealed that all victims had a student email account at Rowan College in Burlington County. Taylor illegally accessed about 5,000 of the college's email accounts.
Whoa.
That is an abuse of power.
That is terrible.
While on duty as a Mount Laurel patrol officer, Taylor engaged in illegal computer activity from his personal devices. Taylor resigned from the department after a suspension, and measures were begun to fire him. The investigation was conducted by the prosecutor's office high-tech crimes unit and the Evesham Township Police Department, with assistance from the Mount Laurel Police Department, Delran Police Department, the New Jersey State Police, and the Riverside Police Department. Lead investigator was Evesham Detective Christopher DiFrancesco. And thank you for that, Christopher. We appreciate your service. Very much so. All right. You may remember this woman. This is every Pornhub subscriber's dream.
Okay.
I say that facetiously, if I can get the word out. She's a whole subcategory on Pornhub.
She is?
Yeah, this former Florida nurse was caught having sex with her teen stepson and was sentenced to 2 years in prison.
No. Oh.
I don't know if you remember this story, Jess, but she just got sentenced this past week. This Florida nurse was sentenced to 2 years in prison after her husband caught her having sex with his son last year.
No, you must have covered this on a week I was out, because I would remember this.
Alexis Von Yates was on a sofa with her then 15-year-old stepson late at night last year after they had watched a horror movie together. Imagine his father's horror.
I cannot imagine.
When he opened the front door while returning home from work and caught them in the act, according to court documents.
Oh my God.
Sonny boy going to town on the old wife.
What would you do?
Well, she's out of the house, I think, at that point. The son, I think I'm kicking him in the nuts a few times to teach him a lesson.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
She appeared in court on Monday and agreed to a no contest plea to lewd and lascivious battery on a child between 12 and 16, a lesser charge that had been reduced from sexual battery by a person in familial authority, which is a first-degree felony that carries up to life in prison. So she pleaded out.
I feel like if she was a guy, they would have given her that.
Oh, no question. There wouldn't have been a plea agreement.
No, why are we playing her out? If that was a guy, a stepfather, and a stepdaughter, we'd all be freaking losing our minds.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I hate to play this card, but it's because she's a female that the situation were reversed.
Yes.
For a guy with a stepdaughter and a woman walked in.
Yes.
That guy's going up the river. And
that's rape, and he is going to prison.
Yes. Yes. The victim's mother spoke during Von Yates's sentencing, calling her incestuous pedophile who groomed and violated her son, according to Court TV. The victim's mother also said Alexis Von Yates showed no remorse for her despicable actions, calling her a coward. Von Yates will serve 2 years in state prison. That's it, followed by 2 years of community control and 10 years of sex offender probation for the July 26, 2024 incident. The incident was reported via an anonymous tip 4 days later, triggering a police investigation. The victim told investigators that Alexis Von Yates had been making sexual remarks for a week leading up to the incident. According to court documents, the teen and his siblings were staying with the couple for the summer. On the night of the incident, the father was working a late shift as a lineman while Alexis Von Yates and her stepson stayed up together after his siblings went to bed. According to the affidavit, They smoked a THC cartridge. Why there's not drug charges in here, I don't know.
Gosh.
They played video games and watched a horror movie. As they sat close on the couch, Alexis Von Yates allegedly told the boy she was horny, hadn't had sex in 2 weeks, and began making sexual jokes for days, which escalated before the father came home, according to these court documents. They heard a noise in the garage, but continued on before the father barged in. So they knew he was coming. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I dislike this woman very much.
Yeah. The father, Frank Von Yates, roared at his wife, calling her a cunt. Just call it as it is.
I usually don't approve of such language, but I understand it in this situation.
Yep. And child predator. He also yelled that out at her as well. While his son
seriously, she's a pedophile.
Yeah. Yeah. While his son ran into the bedroom at that point. After the incident, the father told his son to gather his belongings and drove him to his grandparents' house. That is some shame.
Yeah. That's not a fun car ride.
Nope. Because then you got to face grandma and grandpa.
Oh man.
Yep. And you got to, at that point you have to tell grandma and grandpa what you just did. And you have to explain why you're there. Florida 5th Judicial Circuit Court Judge Timothy McCourt said he accepted the plea deal because the victim's family agreed to it. The victim's mother
just want it to go away.
Yeah. The victim's mother told the judge his father has not spoken to his son since the incident.
Which isn't really fair because he's a kid.
Yeah. At some point you have to move on, right? Alexis Von Yates was arrested November 6th of 2024 at a residence. As part of her plea deal, she will also be required to complete 200 hours of community service and pay fines and court fees. The Florida Department of Health suspended her nursing license shortly after her arrest. I say revoke it. Don't suspend it.
No kidding. I don't want her helping me or my children if we're in the hospital.
No. I mean, at that point, it's time to start.
And is she now a registered sex offender? She should be.
For 10 years. For 10 years. Yep. She has to report for 10 years. I think at least suspend her license for 10 years. Make it concurrent.
Yeah. I think just take it away. She shouldn't be working with people in vulnerable states.
Yeah.
She's a predator.
She's proven she can't work with vulnerable people. So.
Yuck. That's a gross one, Tim.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm here for it.
All right. Speaking of gross. Sorry, it'll lighten up here.
Is it going to get worse before it gets better?
It'll get worse before it gets better. Yes, we're gonna stay in Florida. Video vigilante star in To Catch a Case. This is kind of an interesting story. Floridians attack a man in a predator sting.
Oh no!
You ready for this? I'm going to show you
that show.
Yeah,
to catch a pedophile.
I'm going to show you
predator,
these 5 men right here. All right.
Okay, they're the ones who attacked the predator.
Here we go. Yep, a group of 5 young Florida men are facing an assortment of criminal charges for battering and falsely imprisoning a man who they targeted in a To Catch a Predator style sting that was recorded and uploaded to a website for public viewing for profit. According to court records, as alleged in arrest affidavits, the video vigilantism occurred around 2 a.m. on Friday at a home in Largo, a city in the Tampa Bay area. The victim arrived at the residence expecting to meet a minor for sexual encounters. The man apparently had been lured to the short-term rental property via a dating app or some other fraudulent online enticement. After arriving at the residence, the victim was forced onto a couch while being yelled at to sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. That's a great way to start a show, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our program, To Catch a Case. Let's welcome our pedophile, shall we? Hi, predator. Now sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. It's a great way to start.
Done with a great hosting voice.
Thank you. It's, thank you. Sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. You got to say kind of cheery, right?
Oh, man.
One of the assailants placed the victim in a rear naked chokehold. So a little bit of wrestling comes into this. Yeah.
Wait, rear naked chokehold? Is that what you said?
Rear naked chokehold. It's one of these.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't actually naked.
No, Jess. No, we didn't get down to the sex right away. No, a rear naked chokehold is one of these. It's like a sleeper hold.
Okay.
Yeah, to basically choke him out, while others repeatedly threatened him and warned of police intervention.
And he's like, yes, please.
Yeah, he's like, if you would, I'd appreciate it. Let's
you assault me?
Yeah. While pinning the victim down, the defendants stood in a circle around the man and physically attacked him while he was trapped and unable to leave and was begging and pleading for the attack to stop. This according to police. One of the men arrested 19-year-old Matthew Qualley, who forcibly shaved the head of the victim against his will for humiliation purposes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, these boys were into it. They were. They were. The group of attackers repeatedly threatened the victim and coerced him into doing acts of humiliation, which are not further described in court documents.
Oh, they must have been really bad, Ben.
It was for profit, Jess. So, they to catch a case.
Were they like putting this on like YouTube or something?
I think they were. They were going to do some sort of pay-per-view. Yeah. The accused men recorded the incident and planned to profit monetarily from the video, which was uploaded to a website for public viewing for profit without the victim's consent. The affidavits do not identify the website or whether the attack was live streamed. In addition to Qualley, the September 12th arrest netted 20-year-old Roland Ralsage, Harold Hashorva, I believe it is, who's 18, 19-year-old Dylan Gentry, and 19-year-old Andrew Issa. Each man faces a felony false imprisonment charge, while some also have been hit with battery and or robbery counts. Issa was charged with child neglect, a felony for bringing a juvenile to the site of the sting, probably as bait, which cops described as an area with an unknown subject believed to potentially be a sexual offender. The minor involved was a suspect and was arrested. A police spokesperson told The Smoking Gun. Issa, it says pictured above and bottom right. So somewhere in this picture is identified in court records as a caregiver to the juvenile. Oh, okay, as one of the offenders who was visible in the uploaded video. The defendants were each released on bond from the county jail on Sunday, and a judge has ordered them to have no contact with the victim. So they did this guy used his own kid or used a kid brother as bait.
Oh, yikes.
For the offender. Isn't that something?
Yeah, this is a lot.
It's a little much.
Dangerous.
Well, dangerous, but then to do it for profit is, I don't know. Would you ever watch something like that online?
Oh, heavens, no.
It's bizarre. I mean, it's just a bizarre story.
I mean, I liked the Chris Hansen ones, but he wasn't like beating people up. But it was fun to see him be like, and what'd you bring the 6-pack and the condoms for?
I mean, he made them uncomfortable, and then he had police waiting outside, right? I mean, it was the idea was, okay, you want to do this, you're gonna pay the price, right?
I wouldn't want to see anyone tortured, beat up, humiliated. Like, obviously, I'm not a pedophile fan. Like, that's probably one of my biggest icks in the world.
Right.
But nobody needs to be physically hurt. Like, leave it to the justice system.
Right. And exactly, Jess. And it was humiliation enough to see them trapped on camera and caught by police.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And you saw their faces and you knew they weren't going to work tomorrow. Like,
right. And you know what? You disrupted their lives. You exposed them on television. They were seen by millions of people, and the story, right?
Yeah. And I don't think that, like when they go to prison, I don't think other inmates really appreciate pedophiles. So they might get theirs when they get there. I mean, they're going to be taken care of. You don't have to be the one to do it.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right. A couple more stories here, and then we have our palate cleanser. By the way, Jess, our last story is not a palate cleanser and not safe for work. It's far from that. All you porn lovers in Michigan are in trouble. I'll just say that. Michigan lawmakers are introducing a bill to completely ban porn access online.
Oh.
Yeah. No more naughty stuff for the people in Michigan. Too bad.
They're going to have to go back to watching VHS tapes.
Either that or break out dad's magazines, right? I mean,
yeah. We're going old school.
Yeah, it turns out Playboys will be valuable again in Michigan. Michigan lawmakers have introduced a new bill that would ban online porn statewide. How you enforce that, I have no idea.
That would be hard.
Yeah. Well, literally.
There's so many websites. Yeah, literally.
There are. And it's not like you don't issue IPs by state. So,
no,
be able to prove that IP sits in a state somewhere, that it's being, that it emanates from a certain state. I don't know if it's done by your cable company or whoever's issuing your IP. I don't know. House Bill 4938, known as the Anti-Corruption of Public Morals Act, was introduced by Republican representative from Oxford, Representative Josh Shriver. The bill would prohibit the distribution of material online, including video, stories, and images. It will require, here we go. It will require internet service providers to use filters to block material and actively prevent people from bypassing those filters, or VPNs. It imposes criminal penalties of up to 20 years in prison and $100,000 in fines for distributing banned content.
Oh, so it's going to be on the people distributing it, not the people consuming it.
It's on both. It will fine internet providers and platforms as well.
Right.
Yeah. So
they can track that. They can see where it's coming from probably easier than they can see you and I looking at it.
Right.
For example, not that we would.
That's right. If passed, it would take effect 90 days after being signed into law. It's an interesting concept, but it's hard. I would think it'd be almost impossible to enforce.
I think it would be hard to catch the people watching it for sure.
Yeah. And think of how many people you'd have to round up, fine. There's at least 3 people in Michigan that maybe 4. They're good people in Michigan. It'd be really hard to find them. Anyway. All right. Last story for Not Safe for Work, and then our palate cleanser, and then we're out of here for the day. A man is arrested in Arizona after urinating on people during a Demon Slayer movie screening.
That's not holy water.
That's not. See? That's not holy water. It says here, when you go into a movie theater, you expect a good time. Maybe grab some popcorn, a soda, and settle in for a couple hours of escapism. At least that was the plan for a group of moviegoers in Arizona, until their night took a bizarre and disgusting turn, thanks to one unhinged man. No, he didn't pull a weapon or try to fight the crowd. What he did was probably and arguably stranger. He allegedly stood up in the middle of the Demon Slayer movie, unzipped his pants, and began urinating right there in front of everyone, including children. Bizarre. The man was later identified as Lemuel Hull. And while some people froze in disbelief, others weren't about to let it slide. Or slide on his urine, one or the other. One audience member decided to take immediate action, marching over and punching Hull straight in the face.
Oh, yes.
While he was peeing? Aren't you afraid you're going to get a little on you?
Sterile, Tim. I've told you this before.
Well, just I don't know. In the now viral video circulating on Reddit, you can see Hull getting smacked around. Well, hilariously enough, Zenitsu is showing off his flashy combat skills on screen. That's one of the demons. Yeah.
You've got that going on in the background. And tell me it was a woman who punched him in the face. That would be even better.
The dramatic music playing at that moment accidentally gave the whole mess a cinematic flair as the pisser's getting punched. Once the commotion became impossible to ignore, theater staff quickly flipped on the lights. The Arizona man who threw the punches backed away while Hull slumped motionless in a seat. A cluster of moviegoers could be seen hanging back, watching the scene unfold, like they couldn't decide whether to laugh or be horrified.
I would be laughing and horrified all at the same time.
The staff immediately ordered everyone to leave the theater. Shortly after, the footage cuts to Hull being detained by Arizona police officers. According to reports, he was booked on several charges, including indecent exposure, disorderly conduct, criminal damage, and refusing to provide a truthful name. I don't think I'd give my name either if you caught me pissing in the middle of a movie theater. I mean, the bathroom's right outside the theater. You know,
it's not that hard. Yeah, just go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Thankfully, AMC handled the disruption well. Patrons were refunded, offered the chance to continue watching Demon Slayer in a different theater, and even given free snacks for to make up for the ordeal. Still, the whole situation left a bad taste in people's mouths.
Ew.
Figuratively, and unfortunately for some, most literally.
Oh, is he like spraying it all over? That's crazy.
Maybe he was.
Yeah, he must have been.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with the pee on me as long as it doesn't get in my mouth. If it gets in my mouth, I'm done.
Yeah, I think if it reaches the lips, I'm out. You. Mm. All right, our palate cleansers for today have to do with how should I put it, Jess? Have to do with people who are a little anal retentive. It's the best way I can.
Okay.
All right. We start first with a couple that, let's just say, paid for white glove treatment as they were moving for maybe the wrong item. And they're pissed off that they didn't get what they paid for. You ready for this?
I'm
First
intrigued.
of all, what is the most valuable item that you would pay for white glove treatment to get moved from your home from one place to another if you had to move?
I mean, the thing that's probably the biggest pain in the ass would be like our big televisions that I'd be afraid we could break. So maybe that
makes sense. Right. I have a big TV that I would probably, I'd really want gentle treatment with. Right.
Yeah.
That would make the most sense. Big TV. China hutch. A China hutch would be another one.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
China hutch. The bookshelves behind you would be another one.
Oh, yes.
You know, extra care.
Good call.
White glove treatment. Very expensive, nice bookshelves. I would say like my comic book collection, maybe, but I mean, like I would put those in my van and drive them in my van.
Yeah, do that yourself. Yeah.
Do that myself, right? Make sure it gets from one place to another myself. Couple in Everett is pissed off, boy, because their prized Lego display was among items damaged in a cross-country move.
Oh, they're going to have to rebuild them.
Oh, Jess, I'm telling you.
I hope they saved all the directions.
An Everett couple is suing a moving company and its insurers, saying their prized Lego collection was left in pieces after a cross-country move, according to court filings.
Nerds.
Yeah, boy. Huge nerds. The lawsuit, I'm going to get a bunch of emails going, you have no idea. You have no idea.
No, I love Legos and we do them as a family. So I get it. I'm a nerd too. You know, nerds unite. We're going to rule the world, but
it wasn't just the building. I glued them. I took the time I took and the effort.
Your Lego man voice is now my favorite.
You have no idea. And they broke them. It's not that they fell apart. They broke them. I expect full restitution. They should buy me a whole new set. And you know what that set's worth now? Do you know what it's worth now, Jess?
Yeah.
You can't
Hundreds.
you have to get it on the aftermarket. You can't go into a store and buy that. I have to go to a special Lego convention to get that.
Mm-hmm. The lawsuit filed in, I'm going to get so much shit for that. The lawsuit filed in Snohomish County Superior Court was brought by Bruce Wilkerson and his wife, Marcella Taslim. Marcella's so proud of Bruce, she didn't take his last name. No, I'm kidding. See.
Oh, now you're really going to get it.
He's so emasculated that she doesn't even want his last name. They say they paid a moving company extra for white glove handling of fragile items, including large, fully assembled Lego displays that had been carefully built
and preserved before their move from Baldwin, New York to Everett in 2024.
According to the complaint, the couple was quoted as a not to exceed cost of $10,395 that included $1,600 for the upgraded service.
Wow, that's quite expensive.
They paid $10,000 to move Legos.
Yes, that's crazy. They're rich nerds.
Were they ever? But they alleged the company that showed up, Swift, gave them a new estimate on the spot and pressured them for more money before loading their belongings. When their shipment arrived September 1st of 2024, the couple says only one mover came to unload the truck. They claim that they had to help with the delivery, which included not only their property, but also items belonging to another customer. Boxes were mislabeled or missing, and they soon realized many of their possessions were gone or broken. The Lego collection, which plaintiffs say had been specially flagged for careful handling, was delivered in pieces. The mover allegedly refused to note the damage in writing and declined to unpack or assist with documenting what was lost, despite the white glove treatment. That's in quotes. The couple bought insurance through Insurmedics, underwritten by Prime Insurance. They submitted a claim for, are you ready for this, Jess, for the amount for the Legos? $30,158.89 in missing and damaged items.
No way that it was worth that much. No way.
It was worth every penny.
But court records say Guardwise Insurance Agency offered only $2,725.70.
Well, that's a kick in the nuts right there.
Yeah, it is.
It was worth $30,000.
Less than 10% of what they requested. Plaintiffs say the claim required 49 emails and a Zoom meeting with an adjuster. You know these people were obnoxious.
Oh, my goodness.
Who allegedly admitted it would have been impossible to fit all their property into the truck that arrived. The suit accused the companies of neglect, breach of contract, and bad faith insurance practices. According to court documents, the moving company was dropped from the lawsuit, and the couple later moved the lawsuit to federal court and then claimed $75,000 in damages. It keeps getting better.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Your Honor, you have no idea how rare that Lego set is.
They get that. I'm going to build Lego sets like a mad woman. And then when I move, sue someone.
I'm telling you, get rich off it.
You have no idea how much that Millennium Falcon's worth. It's hard to get. It's first edition. It's worth at least $25,000.
I mean, I would just maybe want my money back that I paid them to move my stuff. You know, like at 30,000 and 75,000. Like what?
How does that value escalate between?
Did they appreciate and value that much all of a sudden? Like what is happening?
between circuit court and federal court. Somehow that went up $45,000.
Is it now like emotional damages? Like
Yes. It's trauma and
pain
emotion.
and suffering.
In the 49 Zoom calls, somehow they had to subscribe to the big service on Zoom.
I mean, I would think the amount of effort they've put into this is just like not even worth it. I would have been done after the first Zoom call.
You would think after the loss in circuit court, they'd go, all right.
Yeah.
You know,
take your lumps and move on. Go fix your Lego sets.
Take the time to fix your Lego sets. But no.
Oh, so weird.
All right. And finally, when we're talking about anal retentiveness, let's go back to your home state, shall we, Jess?
Oh, yes. Let's go to Iowa.
Let's go to Iowa. A teepee warning has been issued in a northeast Iowa town. That's right. We're not going to take it. We're going to Jessup, Iowa, where the Jessup Police Department has issued a statement regarding harassment that results from teepeeing activities. Toilet paper is expensive, Jess.
Yes, it is. And it's hardly worth wasting on TPing, but TPing is fun.
It is. But the Jessup Police Department says teepeeing is now banned, and anyone caught doing it will face legal charges, including fines and community service. They don't take your shit in Jessup.
Wow. I guess not.
The annual homecoming tradition of teepeeing involves decorating homes and trees with toilet paper. It's a tradition.
I love that. Why would they make that against the law? That sounds beautiful.
But it's beautifully annoying now, according to Jessup authorities. Police say that this has turned into harassment, targeting the same non-participants every year.
Well, if they're not participating, but...
This department made numerous attempts last night to deter individuals from entering onto a specific residential property and dumping a significant amount of toilet paper, said the Jessup Police Department. We cannot and were not available to watch every residence for every minute in town last night. In other words, you broke into our donut and coffee break.
I think Jessup's kind of a small town, if I'm thinking of the right town. So
I'm aware of the town.
I don't think they probably have a huge police force, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Police say multiple people have been identified and are under investigation for trespassing, criminal mischief, illegal dumping, and disorderly conduct. I find it funny that illegal dumping is in there with teepee.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. The Jessup Police Department has announced on Facebook that it is enforcing a new zero tolerance policy for this practice. Zero tolerance, people, for teepee. And that's how we end today's program.
Well, I'm not gonna go live there because I like a good TP tree once in a while.
That's right. Sometimes teepeeing's all right.
Just keep it low so you can reach it and get it off before it rains.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, every once in a while, you gotta let the TP fly, right?
Absolutely.
That's just part of the game, Jess. Part of the game of life is you gotta let the TP fly, even if it is.
That's what that's what single ply is for.
That's right. That's what the cheap stuff.
Literally made for TPing.
That's right. That's what single ply is made for. That's what the cheap stuff is made for. That's why they make generic toilet paper.
Exactly.
The good stuff is for your starfish. The single ply is made for the trees. Return the TP from whence it came. Back to the trees.
Exactly. Back to nature.
Back to nature. It just wants to return from whence it came. God, that's so poetic, and what a great way to end the show.
Really, really good. Nice ending.
Thank you. I didn't mean it to be that way, but it ended up being that way anyways. Sometimes you just kind of fool around and fall into a good ending, right?
That's right. Bravo, my friend.
Thank you so much. Jess, what do you got for us before we take off today?
Oh, I do have a couple of events coming up. I have a book signing in Lakeville, Minnesota on the 4th of October, and I have a book launch party on the 10th. So anybody interested in attending any of those sorts of things, you can find those events on my website.
That's right. We'll have a link to the website in the description of this program so you can check out those events, and please attend. Please come out and attend those events and support Jess and her 14 books that she's released to the public. I'm kidding. The 4 books that she has out there. And will Natalie be there as well?
Yes, of course.
Good.
And the book launch one is going to be fun. You have to RSVP. I mean, you don't have to, but it'll help us plan because we're going to give you booze and treats.
Oh, booze and treats?
It's a party.
Damn, girl. All right. All right. Well, then people get your RSVP in for that and join Jess and Natalie out there for that. So, yeah. Booze and treats. I'm down.
That's right.
Yeah.
We like to have fun.
That's right. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Teasers for this week. Supernatural news tomorrow with Mally. And then Thursday on the program. We've been heavy into the monsters lately.
Mm-hmm.
This week is no exception. But not your typical monsters. We may talk about bunny men and oddities like that.
Yes. I love those are my favorite stories. When you find them, they're like gold.
Yeah. So there's some unusual stories, unusual monsters that we'll talk about this week.
Fun.
Off the beaten path type stuff with our guests this week. So that's what we have coming up this week. Old friends are joining us end of September, beginning of October. I'll tell you this much. We're going to take a new look at a very familiar serial killer in October with an old friend.
Ooh, I'm excited. I love anything about serial killers.
Yeah. So it's an exciting project, and that's coming up beginning of October. First week in October, I believe.
Sweet.
Yeah. So there's lots of good stuff coming up, both True Crime Tuesday and Darkness Radio. We got lots of good stuff on the horizon. I want to thank you guys for continuing to support the program. Just real quick, if you're not watching this program on either darknessradioshow.com or on YouTube, you can do so by going to darknessradioshow.com or by going to the original Darkness Radio on YouTube and watch the program there. Otherwise, Mally Fox tomorrow, Supernatural News, and join us for the show on Thursday. The other reminder, Out of Bounds, From Broken NBA Dreams to Redemption, the story of Chris Washburn, along with Ronchepesiuk, is available and in the description of this program. Highly encourage you to check that book out as well. Great redemption story. I want to thank Chris and Ron for being on the program today. That'll do it for today. Thank you, Jess, for being on the program today as well. We will see you tomorrow for Supernatural News on Darkness Radio. And thank you again, folks, for tuning into the best in true crime podcasting. This has been True Crime Tuesday.
For more audio and video archives of True Crime Tuesday, intriguing content, fun events, and cool swag, check out darknessradioshow.com. The executive producer of True Crime Tuesday is Troy Palmer. If you enjoyed today's program, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. And make sure to join us tomorrow for Supernatural News with Mally Fox.